The return of Monday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. No sooner does Queensland go back to school and New South Wales goes on to holidays than the Gentleman Sim Racing Club gets back into action, and we breathe new life into the season of 2024 by opening up Turn 2 at the Goat Track. Winton Motor Raceway, the clothesline, northeastern Victoria in Kelly Country, Benalla, and the opening round of Super 2 and Super 3 for the new season. And what a season it promises to be if tonight's grid size is any indication as to what we're in for over the course of the next 10 weeks. Good evening, everybody. I'm Zach Caban alongside Adam Lavis. Welcome to Monday Night Motorsport, night one of week one of Term 2 for 2024. And finally, a lovely point of the season where we're talking about 3 time zones, not 17. Winton Motor Raceway, the venue, 3 kilometres, 12 turns. It's a clockwise directional circuit. We're at 9:35 in the morning, local server time, in the middle of autumn, April 15, 2024. We're currently sitting on 20 degrees. I believe the track temperature is 24. Can't see it for the comment there from Tom Foster. Good evening to you, mate. Nice to have you on board. The wind speed is minimal at 3 kilometres an hour, and we are looking at clear blue skies. Won't be saying that for all of this season across all of our different servers and championships because, of course, we do have the rain model introduced to some of our offerings. Let's have a look at the grid for this opening round of the new campaign for the Super 2 and Super 3 series. 3 o'clock in the afternoon for this race. Clock moving just in single time formation, 1 second at a time rather than twice as fast as it will be for GT3 a little bit later on tonight. 22 degrees the ambient, 27 on track. And this is the grid. Damien Kenton, Jaden Green the front row, Will Buchanan Nickel the second, Stephen Varga and Mark Horton the third, Jackson Ray Harner's back in the server, and Shorten Hart the fourth row, Leith McClymont and Michael Hammond from row 5. Row 6, Brendan Griffiths, Angus Lawford. Row 7, Jack Humphreys and Harrison Colville. Blake Fitz and also, of course, Kevin Coleman from 8. Dane Snadden, Kurt Chapman from 9. Sean Vandermeulen and Adam Proctor from 10. Ryan Teggles on row 11 alongside Greg Brooks. Jared Knight, Alan Gill from 12. David Christensen, Mark McNamara from 13. Sam Stride and Josh Zuno from 14. Dale Sharp, Aaron Bryan from 15. Wayne Visser on row 16 alongside Chris Stark. Nick Fodiatis jumps from row 17 alongside Darren Harris. Row 18 is Tom Williams and Aidan Schultz. Row 19, Zach Christie and Josh Robertson. Row 20, Greg Spencer and Jared Gilbert. Row 21 is where you'll find Liam Amos and Matt Schmidtke. Row 22 is Phil King and Pete Matson. Row 23 is Chris Tomlin and David Lawler, and still they come. Row 24 is Shane Newens and Greg Padgett. Row 25, Peter Gretton and Joe Baldwin. They are backed up around the corner, all the way around to almost turn 11, ladies and gentlemen, tonight here at Winton. This will be chaotic. 25 minutes worth of drama-packed action here for you. Get rid of that, Adam. Fair income. The first night of the new term and already the spam bull. Anyway. All right, we're ready to rock and roll. Let's be sensible about this, ladies and gentlemen, because this is going to be action-packed from the outset. Not an easy circuit to overtake on. And with traffic this big, congestion will be a big part of the storyline of the narrative here for the next 25 minutes. It's status quo on a Monday night. It's supercars into GT3, round one of the championship. Let's go! Hold your breath. Gone. See you later. Michael Hammond and Sean Hart. Exit stage right and dropping like flies down the order. Hammond's dropped 23 spots and Hart's dropped 35 spots already. Shane Ewan showing off track as well. We had 48 starters, no Aidan Schultz, no Chris Stark. Starkey taking one for the team, opting out of this chaos and into race control.
So interestingly, Damien, current champ, he was bragging and when Fravel was talking about getting down below into the 118s for this lap time. And he's saying, well, at least my starts are good, but he's dropped from pole down to third place, so he hasn't backed himself up already.
And am I right in saying no Greg Favell as well? Blake
haven't seen
off
it.
The road through cleavage. So we're through the first part of the opening lap without too much drama. Only 2 or 3 incidents to speak of, which in a field this size is not too bad, all things considered. Uh-oh, it's a parking lot at turn 9 coming out of cleavage. That has impacted a few different people. David Christensen, Jared Gilbert, Liam Amos, all caught up in that. So too David Lawler, already on the tow rope. 1 lap gone. Jaden Green, Tim Nicol and Damien Cairns lead the way. Stephen Varga into 4th spot. Jackson Rayhana up 2 spots into 5th. Harrison Colville up 7 spots on the opening lap from 14th to 7th. That is the pick of the crop so far. 7 also for Ryan Tegel from 21st up to 14th, and Aaron Bryan up 10 spots, so too Darren Harris. They're 20th and 24th respectively from 30th and 34th on the grid. 11 spots gained for Josh Robertson, up 38th to 27th. So they're the pick of the bunch at the moment. And there are 4 cars on pit road already. Wayne Visser opted to start there. Jared Gilbert, Chris Tomlin joined. Shane Ewens and David Lawler on pit road. And Jaden Green leads the way. We're on lap 2, about 1:20 a lap time around here. So, I mean, we've already worked that out, haven't we? It's about, if we're doing our mathematics from the outset, that's 3 laps every 4 minutes, which gives you 18 in 24. We should get 19 with a splash and dash for fuel for good measure as well. Now there's a car running wide. That's the 57 coming around onto the main track. Jackson Rayhana under pressure from Harrison Colville, who got by Will Buchanan on that lap. That second voice that you heard there, we didn't get a chance to formally introduce him. His name is Adam Lavis, just synonymous with him on a Monday night. We're rocking and rolling it again for you in Term 2 of 2024. And so far so good, Adam. I'm a little bit surprised, to be honest with you.
You know, relatively clean. There's a lot of incidents, but there's a lot of cars, so we'll go back and have a look at a few of them in a second. But given the how tight and tiny this track is, the boys have done fairly well.
This is fantastic. Green, Nicol, Cairns, Varga, Rayhana, the top 5. Harrison Colville, the storyline so far, the big mover. I mean, there will be plenty of big movers and losers in all of this as well. We know that because of the size of the field, but when you're coming from outside the top 10 and you're already firmly cemented inside the top 10, Harrison set himself up beautifully to have a crack at the outright positions here. Super 2 and Super 3 still in this platform, ladies and gentlemen. Just remind us again, Adam, I believe it's black and white numbers for Super 2, black plates, yep. To be confirmed is the grey plate with the white numbers, and Super 3 is the blue plates with the white numbers there. The blue plates, white numbers synonymous for New South Wales karting, acknowledging state champions, but different purpose for those backgrounds on this occasion. Back onto the main straight. 3 laps gone. Jaden Green takes us below the 120s for the first time. I'm at 19.942. Nicol, Cairns, Varga, Colville and Rayhana the top 6. So Colville has made up yet another spot whilst we've been explaining everything that's going on here at Winton. Good luck, Starkey. Taking one for the team, putting yourself into race control for this one. Good sprint of Ford and Holden. Ford on top at the moment through Jaden Green. And Holden's 2-3-4, Ford in 5th through Colville. Down there on the inside, Sam Stride losing out to Aaron Bryan on the inside. And he's got to be mindful of Alan Geel and Greg Brooks in behind him. Darren Harris, Josh Zuno and Dale Sharp follow. And if you look at the totem pole on the left-hand side of your screen there, folks, big amounts of yellow and orange showing on that margin board at the moment, which is closest to the racetrack as you look at it. That's giving an indication as to how tightly bunched and closely packed everybody is at the moment. We've already had a couple of retirements here, namely Shane Ewens and Leith McClyman. So we're down to 46, although I think it might be 47 now. It looks like 45, sorry. I think it's Wayne Visser's parked up as well. So down to 45 out of 48, not too bad. Uh-oh, down into pit lane. Carnage, trouble, cars getting unstuck on the run into the pits. Josh Zuno and Adam Proctor caught up in that match. Schmidtke as well. David Christensen was involved but has continued on to complete another lap. Pit lane's all of a sudden a very lively hub of activity as they make their way through turn 4. So here's the replay of the start. This is what happened to Michael Hammond. Uh-oh. Didn't get quickly enough around the car that was hugging the inside of the circuit, clipped him. That set him exit stage right, and everybody else was a passenger beyond that. Now, oh no, Lawler had nowhere to go. And by the point they got to turn 1, those guys that started row 25, 4, 3, 2, 1, it was a parking lot. Similar to here at turn 9. Parking lot. Crawling speed. Congestion central. Everybody trying to find their own way around and find some clear real estate. Not going to happen when David Christensen's parked in the middle of the road. Wayne Visser is getting sent by the John Deere entry. And Visser decided that he'd have a gutful by that point. And parked up. Matt Schmidtke just decides to keep on going in the pit lane. $7:20 gone in this opening race of the new term. Super2, of course, leads into GT3 for waste options at the end of this. Waste options GT3 tonight coming to you, if you don't mind, ladies and gentlemen, from Monza in Italy, the Temple of Speed. We're very excited about that. So Green, Nickel, Cairns, Varga, Colville, Buchanan, and then Lawford, Rayhana, Horton and Humphreys, the top 10. Down the main straight we go with Jackson Rayhana. Good to see the Summit Sim Sport entry back on the grid. Is this a sign of things to come, a return to the platforms of the GSRC for these guys on a more semi-regular basis? So Rayhana has a fair bit of pressure on his rear end at the moment there through Horton, Humphreys, Griffiths. Horton the nearest to Rayhana, trying to find a way by. Rayhana's dropped one spot from where he started. He gained too early in the piece, but then has since lost out to Colville, Buchanan and Lawford, and finds himself back in 8th. Green, Cairns, Nickel, Varga. Cairns, Nickel, Varga, well worth keeping an eye on. Green's holding a 1.3 second advantage at the moment. We go back to Sean Hart coming into turn 11.
That's just be the slow pit lane thing's got me. Yeah.
I was gonna say, don't tell me he's collected that tyre barrier on the inside of the pit corner. Jeez. Horton. Pit lane becoming busy once more with Griffiths, Snadden and Knight all making their way down pit road. Proctor, Schmidtke, Hart have already been down there. Chris Tomlin as well. It'll be interesting to see if anyone that stopped on lap 1 can get themselves through to the end here without stopping again. So I don't know if they can.
Generally for V8s, I believe the normal fuel drop is 48% accuracy. But I did suggest to Starkey that Winton being Winton, probably drop it to 40 just to make sure we get our fuel stops in. So we have thought ahead that we know that Winton is a low fuel track. So we're trying to sort of keep that, try and minimise the chances of the guys stretching it. But I know someone might try it, but we'll see how they go. But the thing is with the V8s though, is like if it's only a splash and dash and the pit lane's short, given the tyre dig, sometimes it might be worth just doing that stop and getting that run again. So we'll have to wait and see.
Good battle forming here between Alan Geel in 17th place. And just ahead of him, of course, is Sam Stride. They've got Greg Brooks in close proximity too. You can see all three of them on your screen at the moment. 13.5 minutes to go, nearly at half race distance to turn 1 once more.
And Greg Brooks has started up his new team.
Now that's an interesting talking point. Revolution E-Racing. We'll have to ask him about that. Some new teams, some new faces, some team change. Turn on turn. So Ryan Tegel in 17th place now. Oh, sorry, 11th place, my apologies. On the cusp of the top 10. Angus Lawford's come to pit lane. Jaden Green, the race leader, to pit lane as well. So Damien Cairns inherits the race lead here. The difference was only 1.3 seconds between Cairns and Green as Green came to pit lane. And there's Ray Harner under pressure from Horton again. Geez, Horton's giving them a good hurry. As far as movers and shakers are concerned, there's quite a few so far. The retirement list is climbing. Joe Trucker Baldwin is parked up, so too Josh Zuno. Two of our own, unfortunately, in the Aussie Races stable. Wayne Viz is parked up, Leith McClymont, Shane Newens as well. 43 cars still out there on the racetrack. It's the most cars Winton's seen in a single on-track session in a while, let me tell you.
For some reason, Jared Knight just went to the pit for a second time.
Okay, that's him. Don't tell me he's forgot fuel or he's copped a penalty or something. Horton can't get down the inside of Rayhana. Colville comes to pit lane. So does Wilton Buchanan. Cairns leads from Nickel, Varga third, Rayhana fourth, and Horton in fifth. Colville, Tegel up to sixth now with Colville and Buchanan on pit road. Coleman in behind Tegel. Chapman, Vandermeulen and Fitz make up the top 10, but that is not corrected order. This field is far from cleansed. We passed the halfway mark, 14 minutes gone, 11 to go. Horton's doing a nice job here, there's no doubt about that.
He's definitely putting the pressure on Jackson.
Rayhana's working hard for his position here. One slip up and Horton will pounce, your sense. GT3 to come, and looking forward to that immensely tonight. Pro split action for you. The boys will be with you on Wednesday night for some production car and GT4 action, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we're up in the States. We're going back to 3 nights of broadcast per week for this term. Four, that's right, yes. So, Thursday night, of course, Daniel Correa-Sar and I rocking and rolling as these boys come to pit lane. Monkey See, Monkey Do, Rayhana and Horton. Daniel Correa-Sar and I with you for Super Formula Light in the main course slot, and in the entree slot / Thursday night main course slot, Formula V as per usual. That's going to be good fun. It's not broke, don't fix it. Leave Formula V where it is. Friday night, Nick Foley Artist returns to contribute. We're excited about that alongside Joe Baldwin, and those boys are going to be bringing you the stock cars, the old favourite stock cars. So looking forward to that immensely. SRX cars. Oh, Horton's got himself in front of Rayhana. Jumped him in the queue in the pit lane. There we go. Rayhana's going to come out in traffic. There's now a car wedged between him and, of course, Horton. It is Brandon Griffiths in 7th place. Oh, Griffo. You can't drift these things, mate. Down the inside goes Rayhana. Good save, though. Rayhana goes through into 17th and Griffiths back to 18th now. Oh boy, it's all happening here. It's all happening here. So yes, 4 nights we're upping the stakes for you. We've changed some of the lineup. The main course slots on Monday and Wednesday stay the same. GT4 in there on a Wednesday night. and GT3 on a Monday night. Everything else has been upended a little bit. So a change is as good as a holiday, they say. Looking forward to seeing how it all plays out throughout the course of the next 10 weeks. We're riding with Dale Sharp at the moment in 15th, under pressure here. As they head down the back straight, Horton trying to get by, does so. Vandermeulen and Stride and Harris to pit lane. The top 5 yet to stop. Cairns continues on to lap 13. Nickel, Varga, Fitz and Brooks. Those yet to stop. McNamara and Christie as well. So too Dale Sharp. Of the top 15, they are the only drivers yet to stop. Here's Phil King. Looping it into turn 11. Oh, he didn't quite loop it. But had to slow himself down enough to pull it up. Which cost him 2 spots.
There's a traffic jam right here.
Oh, isn't it? Oh, contact as well. Zach Christie. Zach Christie. In the thick of it at the moment. Place on the racetrack, fighting for dear life. He's up 25 spots. He's yet to stop. He's got Horton Buchanan in front of him. He's got Rayhana, Sharp, Griffiths and Humphreys all behind him. All over him like a cheap suit at the moment. Cairns, Nickel and Brooks to pit lane. Cairns, Nickel on their way out of pit lane. Green's going to jump the pair of them. Green jumps them. But only has about a second and a half on them. So, if anything, he may have gained 2 or 3 tenths, but barely anything. It's status quo at Winton between those top 3. Stephen Varga yet to stop. So too Blake Fitz. So too Mark McNamara. So too Dale Sharp. Jackson Rayhana off the road. Rayhana off the road at 1. But the problem stems well before turn 1. He's been crunched up. Oh no, Zach Christie, Rayhana, and a few more caught up at turn 12. There's a dive bomb here from Rayhana on Christie. Turns him, gone. Uh-oh. Bang, bang, wham, bam, thanks, ma'am. We've been waiting for it all night. Here's the move. Was he far enough down the inside? Maybe not. And unfortunately for Dale Sharp, oh, well avoided Dale Sharp. I was going to say he was left with nowhere to go. That's true, but he got on the anchors and slid it through the gap. Well played. 5.5 minutes to go. So the seas have parted. Varga and Fitz to pit lane, you would assume, in the next couple of laps. Green still leads from Cairns, Nickel, Colville, Buchanan, Horton, Lawford now up into 9th. McNamara is 10th. 8 positions gained so far for Harrison Colville. That will likely become 10 when Varga, or 9 at least, when Varga and Fitz make their way to pit lane. Oh, more trouble. Zach Christie, Nick Fodiatis. And Phil King. Stranded and stricken in the middle of the racetrack. He got some help. He got help more than once. He got help twice, 3 times, 4 times. Michael Hammond in there as well. Oh. It's wild at Winton. It always is. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Back to Dale Sharp, 4.5 minutes to go. In comes Stephen Varga. So this should cleanse the field now. Will Fitzpatrick follow to the lane, or will Fitzpatrick continue on? He continues on. Fitzpatrick onto lap 16. Damien Cairns sitting there, all over the back of Jaden Gretton. Now this is interesting. Cairns is coming home with a wet sail. He's closed the gap to Green. Holden goes forward at the Nation's Action Track.
I got a feeling there's Blake in the distance. I think he might be trying to fuel save. He's going to make another 2 or 3 laps. He's got a 4-second gap. Is it enough to hold off these guys who are coming hard and fast?
It's 3 laps at the line. They won't get any more. Will he be able to defend his line and keep these guys at bay? up 14 spots, started 15th on the grid. Look at Cairns trying to fight away by Green as well. Won't do it through cleavage. It's a one-line groove through there. Kurt Chapman in 916 is sitting there in 13th at the moment. I think a few of these are getting a promotion to Super 2. Adam Lavis.
You're going to go all the way back to 21st before we get to the first Super 3 car.
Yep. And that is, of course, at the moment, Greg Spencer, ahead of Mark McNamara and Phil King, 24th and 28th respectively for those gentlemen. Pete Matson having a good run up, 13 spots in 31st. He's just kept his nose clean as best as possible tonight. The list of retirements growing by the second. We've got Jaden Green being pursued by Damien Cairns here. We've got 3 laps to go. They're closing in on Blake Fitz, 2.9 the margin. Fitz is trying to zero stop this. He's trying to get from lights out to checkered flag without transiting the lane. Can he do it? How good is this? Now that we've settled into a rhythm and everybody's sorted out the garbage in terms of getting some clear air and getting it out of their system, the contact, the congestion, the incidents, the off tracks. It's just now good, hard, clean racing, albeit a challenging opening round of the championship because this is not the easiest track for overtaking. Therefore, it can be rather frustrating. But right now, Fitzpatrick is in all sorts of bother because have a look at the track map on the right-hand side of your screen, folks, just to give you an idea as to how congested it is out there. Now,
he's pulled a pin.
No. Fitzpatrick pulls the pin. It was a gallant effort while it lasted, but it was not going to get into the checkered flag. 1.5 minutes on the clock, 2 laps at the line. Barney will get the white flag out next time by. Cairns trying to get down on the inside, couldn't get it done on green.
Oh, a bit of bobble.
He's made a little bit of a mistake through 1. So up the outside goes Cairns now, trying to get by Green on the outside to 3. Green manages to hold him at bay, holds sway through 4, the run up to 5. Green, Cairns, Nickel, Varga, Colville, Horton, Buchanan, Lawford, Tegel and Fitz the top 10. So Fitz has managed to get out in 10th spot despite that late stop, only loses 9 spots in transit, but he's still up 5 on where he started, so still a profit.
Apologies to our friends who've been chatting. I forgot to turn the chat back on after that spam. Sorry about that, guys.
Good copy. David Kirby. Yeah, okay. Hello, Kirby. Nice to have you on board. First bit of bait thrown for the season and week at that, but you'll improve, I'm sure. 33 seconds to go. White flag in the air this time by. And it's Jaden Green holding on for dear life here. And look at the lap traffic they're about to have to contend with as well. I say Winton can be a frustrating circuit, but it does in some instances produce good racing when the pack is bunched up, when the race is on the line, when the onus is on the leading car, not so much the overtaking car, but the leading car not to slip up. Because that looks about... Oh, Cairns trying to get down the inside, couldn't get it done. That looks like about the only way in which Cairns is going to get by at the moment is if Green coughs up. Lap traffic does the right thing, moves out of the road. The final lap, there's turn 5. Green holding on. Ford v Holden in Benalla.
There's also
Ford with the advantage holding sway. This is the make or break section though, Adam Lavis.
There's a massive battle for 16th too. We can't cross through at the moment, but we'll see where this goes at the end here.
As soon as we can, we'll get to 16th. They're a good half a minute down the road, so we'll be able to bring you the last sector of that battle. Don't worry about that. Green works his way through. Holding on for dear life here. Damien Cairns will have one more opportunity into 11 and 12, and that'll be it. Jaden Green's driven a beautiful race here. Second on the grid. Bided his time, took the lead early. Has controlled the race ever since. Last turn, checkered flag, main straight, Jaden Green and Ford for locked up sim spots on top at Winton. Second to Cairns, third to Nickel, fourth to Varga, and fifth to Harrison Colville. Great effort. Mark Horton in for 6th. Buchanan will be
Oh,
7th.
no.
And
Blake-
Lawford is
Blake-
8th.
Blake hasn't put enough fuel in. He's stopped. He's struggling.
Oh, geez. Fitzpatrick's let 10th go. He's 13th and dropping. Dropping like a deflated balloon is Fitz at the moment. He's not going to make it to the line. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? I don't think he is going to make it.
That's a long way away.
That's a good 100 metres. He's not going to make it. Fitzpatrick's day is done. Have a look at him. Have a look at Fitz. Here comes Jaden Green onto the skid pan.
You got to keep going a bit more, Jaden. You're going the wrong way.
Onto the burnout pad. Is he? No, he just wants to do it on the grass.
His teammates going to show. Nope, his teammate knows where to go. Jaden's lost.
Oh dear, how good's that? All in all, not a bad night. Jaden Green will be delighted with that. Damien Cairns, consistency won him the championship last term. He'll be happy with how this one started. There they go. The celebrations underway on the burnout pad over the back of the circuit. McNamara, Matson, the top two in Super 3. Super 2 going the way of Green from Cairns, Nickel, Varga, Colville, Horton, Buchanan, Tegel and Snadden, with Coleman making up the top 10. There we go. Beyond that, Brooks, Vandermeulen, Stride, Proctor, Geel, Sharp, Robertson, Christensen, Hammond and Hart took us back to 20th. Then Christensen, Humphreys, Williams, Hammond and Hart, with Schmidtke, Fodiatis, Fitzpatrick, Matson, Spencer and Bryan all the way back to 31st. And I've gone past a couple of Super 2 names there, but Super 3 names there, I should say. There are the Super 3 classifications. McNamara, Matson, Spencer, Gilbert and King. Gretton 2 laps down, Paget and Ewan's retirements. And as far as the TBA is concerned, these guys will be assigned a division very shortly, I'm sure. Lawford, the best of them, from Chapman, Humphreys, Williams, Amos, Harris, Lawler and Christie. All in all, Adam Lavis, I'm impressed at the lack of attrition in all of that. I mean, Jackson Rayhana was probably the first of those parked up. Out of a 19-lap race, I think you had to get to 15 to be classified, so he'll be the first one not. Excuse me. So if I'm 19 minus 75% is 4.75, so 14.25. You had to get to 15 laps to be classified. So that rules out Rayhana and everybody below him. Griffiths might have got classified depending upon whether he was in the server or not. I'm not sure. 14.98 laps. He was in pit lane. Paget, Knight, Baldwin, Zuno, Vizza, McClymont, Newlands, all retirements in all of that. Nick Fodiatis joins us in the booth. So too does Tim Nickel, Ryan Tegel, Damien Cairns, and race winner Jaden Green. I'll start with the race winner, actually. Hello, gentlemen. Nice to have you on board. Well done. Good showing. For those of you that are just joining us, because it's now 3 time zones instead of 100, GT3 moves from quarter of the hour to the top of the hour, to the bottom of the hour. So we're bringing that forward 15 minutes. The start time will be 8:30 Eastern Standard Time as opposed to 8:45 Eastern Daylight Time as it was in Term 1, because it's still 6:30 for those of our mates in the West, so it's far more civilised than what it was at 5:45 their time during the summer observance. Now, Nick Fodiatis, can I bring you in at this point? Yes, there he is, the great man. Firstly, we're excited about having you back on a Friday night in this position in the commentary box, but secondly, talk us through how hairy and hectic that was for 25 minutes, please.
As you can probably hear in the background, well, good evening, Zach, by the way. As you can probably hear in the background, I've got my fan going full bore. I'm dripping with sweat right now because that's a tough track and tough with... How many people did we have in there? 40-something?
I think it was 48 or 49, yeah.
So, yeah, and, you know, bust my balls to be 33rd, I think, in qualifying. And then I was making headway, and then coming onto the old front straight, I went to the right, just as somebody recovered right in the middle of the track and pushed everybody to the right-hand side. And as you can see, that was the resultant damage on my car.
Indeed, it was. Nice to see you back out in the Super 2, Super 3s, by the way. Is this going to be a regular hit out for you throughout the course of the season?
Yeah, well, I did it last 2 seasons as well. GT3's on a little too late tonight. Mind you, I might still have a go.
A little too late. It's starting early.
Well, it's still late for me because I've obviously got things to do from that in the morning. But who knows? I might make some spirited appearances in the Henry there. But yeah, V8s definitely.
And let's actually, at this point in time, remind everybody what the schedule looks like for this term, so that we can tell you where we're going and when. Nick, if you can see that, mate, give me your pick of the bunch there as far as that calendar is concerned. Chicago's the next stop, then Zolder. Not a bad-looking schedule, this one. Sandown, Red Bull Ring, Oran Park. Then off to one of the new tracks, Algar, Portimao. Motorsport's always a favourite, Motegi West, and we end at Mount Panorama.
Oh, look, it's looking good. Round 3 will definitely be a drop round for me. But next week, I cannot wait. I love Chicago Street. Should be good. The Bailey Ladders Falcon will be there with bells and whistles on.
And in saying all of that, though, mate, I mean, from what you take away from tonight, despite the fact that you ended up getting caught up in somebody else's incident, the fact that you ended up still gaining 6 spots, finishing 27th, ahead of where you started, that's not too bad.
Oh, look, yeah, it's not too bad in the scheme of things. I still should have been another 6 positions further down the road, but save for that accident. But look, yeah, it all comes back to qualifying. That's why it's straight into qualifying as soon as you jump in the server. Qualifying sets up your race, and being buried in the pack, unfortunately, you're just seeing the back of cars and not the front of them in your rear view.
Indeed. And as far as the stablemates were concerned, Aussie races, what was the chatter like in the Discord, please?
There was a lot of discussion about people rejoining because it's very easy to go off track here, and the pit exit's right on racing line as well. So there was a lot of chat about the rejoins, but I mean, a big shout out to all my teammates. We had Jackson Rayhana returned as well, and we've got where is it? Sorry, just going through the results here. Dale Sharp went through on no stops.
Yes. Now, that's an interesting point. And when we look through the field, Sharpie and I think Pistol Pete Matson were the only ones. So, there you go. The entire field, they've got the fuel saving down packed in this one.
No easier track to do it at than this one because there's there's a lot of corners and there's very seldom straight bits of road where you got more than 1 or 2 gears in it. So, top job to him for doing that. It's really good.
Indeed it was. All right, mate. Very nicely done. Now, talk me through the rest of the calendar. I mean, GT4 on a Wednesday night, but you're going to be back in the booth with Trucker on a Friday night.
Yeah, so the Superstar Race Experience, the SRX, bit of a call back to our very first series. The NASCAR's on a Friday night. Well, these things are a little bit easier to drive. Bit more sports sedan than NASCAR, but they're still got long brake zones, which should make for good, spicy racing. And I mean, if you can handle one of these V8 supercars around here, you should be all right with an SRX. So Joe's broadcasting, I'm commentating, and yeah, let the hilarity begin.
Going to be nice to have you back in the booth, mate. It's been far too long since we've had you in here.
Oh, you're going to do it as well?
A regular. Sorry?
Are you doing it as well, are you?
No, I was going to say, you're
Oh,
flying
you want to hear me? Gotcha.
Yes. Nice to have you back in the booth, yes.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I haven't been asked about Friday nights, and given that West Brom has taken on AFL again, I doubt that Friday nights are going to be doable anyway. But no, looking forward to hearing your dulcet tones on a Friday night, mate. Thanks for dropping on by for a chat here, and go well for the rest of the night.
Appreciate it. Well done to all the guys who competed in that race. That was tough, and yeah, well done.
Now, just having a look here, we've got Tim Nicol, we've got Ryan Tegel. Brooksy's coming in for a chat. We've got Damien Cairns and Jaden Green to get to as well. Winners and grinners, Jaden Green, mate. Welcome to Victory Lane. Well done.
Yeah, that was great. That was good fun. So difficult. I was buzzing in the Discord with the boys, so yeah, it was great.
that looked hairy, to be perfectly honest, because not only did you have the pressure of the defending champion nipping at your heels and keeping you honest for the closing few laps there, you also had to contend with an extraordinary amount of lap traffic, mate. Just talk us through it.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on there. I don't know if they had blue flags or anything, but nobody really wanted to move, so it was pretty much just wait for them to make a mistake and dive up there inside. Did that a few times, but yeah, it was not easy, especially trying to hold off the champ as well.
To be fair, it is Winton. There were plenty of mistakes around here tonight. You had smooth sailing in the early stages, mate. Jumped out to an early lead and made it count. Took a small buffer with you into pit lane and capitalised on it, held it. If anything, you managed to slightly increase your margin, but they found a way to reel you in towards the end. Was that they found something in their setup, or that the tyres were going off for you? What do you put it down to?
I don't know. I think I was just stressing, trying to keep the champ off. That was the main thing. But I didn't intend on going into pit lane. If you caught me on the broadcast, you would have seen me lock up big time. So I dived into the pits instead of trying to make the turn. So that was a little mistake. But other than that, it was probably my best race to date, staying out of all the incidents.
You made it work. You made it look as though that was exactly what you intended to do, and it was probably far more time efficient to do it that way as well. And rare that we see the Fords on top in this server, mate. The Holdens have held sway in Super 2 and Super 3 for a little while, through the likes of Damien Cairns and Tim Nicol, and also, of course, Greg Favell. Must be nice to get one up on them.
Yeah, it was great. Well, considering going into qualifying, I hadn't even cracked an 18 yet, and then punched one out in probably my second lap. I was pretty surprised by that. Track conditions were definitely suited towards the Falcon a little bit.
Indeed. What do you make of the schedule? We put it up on screen there a few seconds ago. What do you make of the calendar ahead? What are you looking forward to most?
Well, I was looking forward to Chicago, but I'm up at work. I only missed 2 rounds this season, so I should be able to put in a good fight for this season, but missed Chicago and Canada. I did well at Chicago last time we raced there, but it is what it is. The rest of the calendar looks pretty awesome, though.
It certainly does. I guess now even more so, it emphasises and stresses the importance of making the other 8 rounds count, mate, because you don't have drop rounds to fall back on if you're missing 2 already.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's it. So pretty much just maximise the opportunities we get.
How did you spend the 2 weeks off? Did you put the feet up, or did you go and race elsewhere?
Once we found out we were racing at Winton, I just started punching out testing, trying to get my setup right. But no, other than that, just working and stuff, so...
All right, very nicely done. And where else are we going to see you popping up throughout the course of the season, please? What other championships are you going to contest?
I did Mountain Men Super Formulas when they raced it at the end of last season. That was good fun, so I think I'll be racing them and then the SRXs as well, because those things are a bit of a handful to race. A bit like the supercars, really, but just a lot more power and a lot less grip.
All right, mate, very nicely done. Locked Up Sim Sports off to a very good start in Super 2 for this term. Go and celebrate that with the team, and we'll catch up next week.
Yeah, we'll do. Cheers to the team. Locked Up and Permobil as well.
Well done to Jaden Green. Victor tonight at Winton, but by G, Damien Cairns, to tell you what, he wouldn't have wanted to cough up in those last couple of laps. You were right there.
Yeah, g'day, Zach. How are you?
Good, mate.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean to take tyres when I pitted, so that's probably what helped me catch up to Jaden, because he'd already been on his tyres a little bit. But it's so hard to pass around here, and if they hold their line and they put it in the right spot, it's really hard to pass. But he did a great job, and I tried to give him a few little nudges to make him make a mistake, but he didn't, and he went across and won it. And if I'd have known it was a Ford, I probably would have taken him out. So he didn't get up there on the podium.
Oh, you can say that now because the race is run, and
That's right.
there's no penalties for anything that is said post fact, of course. But excuse me, I've got a frog in the throat at the moment, folks. I'm hoping to get rid of it before GT3. Mate, just to elaborate, we highlighted this when we called you across the line in second. Consistency won you the championship last time round. Are you applying the same plan of attack this time?
100%. You know, you got to go out there, take your opportunities, stay out of trouble, keep getting good results, and end of the year you're up there with a chance to win it. Otherwise, if having bad rounds and not getting the points, it's it's pretty hard to be fighting for a championship then.
Indeed, and as far as the season ahead is concerned, distinctly different looking calendar to what we had last term. What are you most excited about, and maybe is there a circuit that you're not particularly looking forward to?
Well, I only just heard it when I heard you say before, so they all sound great. And finishing off with Bathurst at the end, that's going to be that'll be pretty good, pretty cool with a bit of enduro there to finish it off. Hopefully, it's close between a few of them. Yeah, that'd be real good.
All right, mate. Hey, just talk us through the early stages of that race, because, as we said, Jaden got out to a blinder of a start, and everyone was so evenly matched on time around here, so he was able to maintain that advantage and hold that buffer at about 1 1/3 seconds. What do you put that down to, and what do you put you being able to reel him in at the end there down to, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I had a bit of a bad start, I think, because Greg wasn't here to have it. I ended up getting it, so hurry up, Greg, and come back.
If ever there was an opportunity to do so.
Yeah, so I had a little bit of a there, and I fell back to third and just sort of stuck behind Timmy there for a bit, and then he was struggling with his fronts and stuff, so ended up going past him, and then just came out at the end and thought, oh well, I've taken tyres. He's only 1.4 ahead, I think, at the time, so I thought, well, there's a chance to at least get up to him, and then try and put enough pressure on to do it. But it's just about consistent laps, and we didn't want to pit early because we thought we might have been stuck behind a lot of traffic, so we're trying to go as long as we can as well, so you come out a bit more open track and go from there.
I'm just seeing it again here on my Facebook feed, because I'm about to share the post across to my personal page that we're on air tonight. David Kirby's comment about going forward 112 years plus 1 day or 1 hour is tough. Let me just elaborate on this as well. Isn't it nice to be able to watch home and away before we go sim racing? Or is it just me that feels that way? I'm not sure.
Would be
hello, Tim Nickel. I'm coming to you in just a moment.
Whoa.
Now, just to finish with you, Damien Cairns, when will the great man, Mr. Favell, be back, please?
Well, hopefully next week. He had to work tonight, so he was meant to race, and then he's got called in. So hopefully he'll be back next week, and that'll be good.
He'll be firing on all cylinders and ready to rock and roll. I am sure.
He's already told me not to relax because I got a few points tonight, and he hasn't. Exactly. So he said, "Don't relax, I'm coming for you." So
good.
It'll be good.
It'll be very entertaining to see where the man that's usually viewed as the benchmark in this caper slides into the equation when he returns next week.
Just to make things be a little bit more of a carrot for Greg. Damien's put a big straight line target on all four sides of his car there. That pretty little yellow sticker there. I'm sure Greg's going to look at that and go, "Hey, that should have been mine."
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, he'll want to fight for the one this year.
He'll want it back. There's no doubt about that. I'm being asked by Stephen Varga to ask Damon how was his start. Did he do a Greg? Well,
we already covered that. Yeah, I did.
You did.
It's great from my perspective.
Stephen meant Damien, and I was thinking, hang on, who's Damon? Hill's not here. No, he meant Damien, and we already covered that. Good on you, Stephen Varga, of course, finishing 4th tonight. Damien, we'll let you go, mate. Thank you. Appreciate that.
No worries, and we'll catch you next week at Chicago.
Indeed, we will. Greg Brooks, quickly to you. Well done. Managed to stay out of trouble for the most part and get your way up to 13th, up 9 spots in a very new-looking Ford Falcon tonight for you. Just talk us through the change of teams in the off-season, please.
G'day, Zach. Yeah, that was a fantastic race. I really thoroughly am exhausted. It was so much fun. Sporting the new colours over the break. Myself and Leith have created a new team, Revolution E-Racing. Sorry, dog's in the way. And with just kind of our purpose to really get into league stuff. And we've grown from 2 to 24 in 3 weeks. So yeah, we're going full steam ahead on trying to make a nice healthy social team that participates in as many leagues and events as humanly possible. So yeah, we've chucked on some new liveries and whole new brand and everything. So yeah, look, really happy to start off this first race of the season with the new colours.
And I think you nailed the point. We often talk about how big a team can become in sim racing. Well, infinite is the answer. The world is your oyster. You can have as many people on board as you like. Extraordinary that you guys have expanded so quickly. Talk us through your experience of Winton very quickly, if you don't mind. Bearing in mind that you started 22nd, you finished up in 13th, you've moved up 9 spots, and there were a couple of moments there in the early stages where you had to slow to a crawl just to stay out of trouble.
Yeah, it was. It was a pretty interesting start. I was got a really good jump off the line, but the car in front of me was kind of halted up by the car in front of him, and then I thought, oh, let's try and go around for an outside run, but it didn't quite work out. So I think I lost 5-6 places, I think, and just went down the order. So I had to work my way back up. Yeah, but I thought I didn't have enough pace in me to be able to fight for high positions, but when I was actually able to get in and get going, I was making up places pretty well. So I surprised myself, to be honest with you.
And what are your thoughts on the following 9 weeks, mate? What are you excited about as far as the schedule's concerned, as far as your racing's concerned, as far as this team is concerned?
I'm pretty excited about the whole list, to be honest with you. It's some of the tracks we've done before, and some new ones in there. So I'm interested about how do you say Algarve,
Portimao, yep.
Yeah, Portimao. There we go. We'll go with that one. Yeah, I'm interested in see that one because I haven't driven that one yet. So I'm everyone keeps raving about how good it is. So
do you like roller coasters?
That one. Oh well, if there's lots of bank corners. I mean, I did pretty well with
Zandvoort.
Zandvoort. So if it's anything like that, I'm keen.
All right, mate. Very nicely done. Going to let you go. We've got Timmy Nicol and Ryan Tagle standing by, and then we've got GT3 just around the corner. So go well. Thanks for that.
No worries. Thank you, gentlemen.
And nice of him to make an appearance in the booth for the first time in a while as well. Tim Nicol, Ryan Tagle, good evening. Tim, to you, well done. Podium finish. From 4th to 3rd, the beneficiary of Will Buchanan actually dropping down out of the top 3. Not a bad night at the office, ticked the boxes. I mean, didn't quite have the pace to go with Jaden and Damien in the end, but had plenty of room up your sleeve, although Stephen Varga was finishing quickly.
Yes, good evening, Zach, and well done to the other podium getters. Great start. I was stoked. I didn't light it up like Damien did, but it was funny because I was struggling to keep pace with Jaden, and Damien and I made a bit of a deal because he was hammering the back of me, and I said, well, you have a go and see if you can have a crack at him. And I think it was Penrite corner we decided go up the inside, and then Damien made a meal of it, and so we lost probably a good, I think, 4 or 5 car lengths. So, and then I think the following lap I just said, just go, see what you can do, and then I just stayed in behind him. So, but yeah, it was a good race. Qualifying, let's not talk about that.
Okay. How come? I mean, you're only 4th.
Yeah, so I was very
car field.
Yeah, I was very lucky. The time that I did, which I think was on 19.2, was my first lap out. And for the next 30 minutes, to get a clear part of the track was just almost impossible. I think I had 3 incidents where I had slow cars come back on the track, and I was like, I could see that my Delta was like, it was in the green. I was like, yes, I'm going to get a 19. And the next minute you've got someone not paying attention. But it is what it is. It's when you've got that many cars and a massive range of skill on the track, that's qualifying. But overly impressed with how everyone drove during the race, considering the type of track that it is.
thoughts on the rest of the calendar, mate? I mean, obviously there aren't too many more goat tracks like this on the schedule.
You know me, Zach. It's the ones that I can get to count. But yeah, having Bathurst at the end is always exciting. But yeah, Algarve or however you pronounce it, I don't think I've even bought that track. So there'll be one to learn. But it'll be good to get Greg back. Maybe I should do some more practice so I can get Jaden next time.
I was going to say, no wonder admin had to turn the chat to mute in the server in qualifying, given the traffic, given the congestion, given the incidents. No doubt there'll be someone complaining about or petitioning for us to go to solo lone qualifying or something.
No.
But I don't think that's the way to go. No, absolutely not. All right, mate. Very nicely done. Thank you for that. Go well for the rest of the season. Look forward to checking in whenever you're here.
No, that'll be good. Believe it or not, I downloaded the bloody Home and Away soundtrack, but it would not play through my microphone when you introed me.
Don't worry. I've got it here on my phone. You don't need to worry about the original 1988 version. Thank you, mate. Go well.
See you, buddy. Bye.
Sometimes I get stick, and I fully understand why. Now, Ryan Tegel, to you. Not a bad night at the office, 21st, right in the middle of the field at the start. So no doubt sweating on just what could and would go wrong. But thankfully for you, a pretty clear set of heels and a good run and up into the top 10, mate. Nicely done.
Yeah, that was just it. I didn't think I'd even get close to getting in the top 10 tonight with the field this big. I also forgot that 21st was in the middle of the pack. I was actually pretty happy with that in the end. I was thinking I'm going to be right at the back, but then I realised there's a field of almost 50 drivers. So, yeah, I was pretty happy with that. Got a good launch off the start and then just kept it clean. I ended up with the least amount of incident points of any race. And, Winton's just one of those tracks where I'm naturally slow and Winton wants you to be slow, so slow is fast.
Essentially, yes. Smooth is fast. And talk us through just navigating your way through past incidents and then trying to execute overtaking opportunities, because the ladder's not easy around here.
No, it's not. It's actually interesting who you end up in battles with. You end up in battles with people that you don't even realise that are like your skill level, or some tracks that you're on par with some people, and sometimes they're just so much better. So it's just interesting. Like, I had a really good battle at the first half of the race with Dane Snadden, and then we just obviously did different strategies with pit stops, and then pretty much after my pit, it was pretty lonely for the most of it, and I just kept it clean and found that the race came to me when everyone was pitting. I would just overtake, and just ended up kept climbing up that ladder.
And your thoughts on the season ahead, mate? I mean, how are you enjoying the challenge of the supercars, firstly, and then you look at the calendar, and what are your thoughts on that?
Well, any chance I get to jump in these cars, I'll take it. Like, I never get, I very rarely, I should say, get Monday nights off. So it was nice to get it off and jump back in the Super 2s. And I've never actually raced at Chicago, but everyone's been raving about it. Jaden particularly loves the place, so I'll be looking out. He might be going for another race win, but. I'm keen to. So I think I'm free. On next week. So I'm looking forward to that.
All right, mate. Very nicely done. We might let you go at this point in time. Congratulations again. Nicely done. A top 10 finish to start the season. We hope the rest of it goes well for you.
Thanks, Zach. Have a good night, mate.
We'll try. We've got some news of our own to deal with a little bit later on in the broadcast, and I know the boys have already touched on it in the Enduro last week, but we will touch on that very shortly here on the platforms of the GSRC. But I just want to, on behalf of everybody here, send our thoughts, our prayers, our love, our condolences out to everybody impacted by the awful events that happened in Western Sydney and Bondi Junction on Saturday afternoon. Just horrible to witness that through the events that reported on television and the news coverage that followed. And it gets worse, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, because Sky News is just reporting at the moment that a major operation is underway in Western Sydney, in Wakeley, where 4 people, including a Christian preacher, have been stabbed at a church. So if you thought the heinous crimes of the weekend were a one-off incident, unfortunately, no, it's getting slightly worse, with a church now being targeted as well. So our thoughts to everybody that's been impacted indirectly or directly by all of those events. This is Monday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, and we'll be back with GT3 after this. The continuation of Monday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. Nice to have you along for the ride, the opening instalment of our coverage of Term 2 of 2024, Week 1, Night 1. And there are 4 nights of broadcast coming your way, as we alluded to a little bit earlier this evening. I'll be back with you on Thursday night. Daniel Correa-Sarah and Liam Banks will be here with you Wednesday night. Joe Baldwin and Nick Fodiatis on Friday night. We'll go through the full schedule a little bit later on. Welcome to the Monza circuit in Italy for the opening instalment of Waste Options GT3 for the new campaign. A slight change to the schedule here. We'll go through that for you in just a moment. But in the meantime, this circuit, 5 3/4 kilometres long. It's in the heart of Italy. It's known as the Temple of Speed. 21 degrees is the track temperature, 19 the ambient. We're at 9:45 in the morning, and so far it's clear but cloudy trackside as we get ready for the first 60-minute race of the season. Tonight we will bring you the pro split, and as you can see, as the race server kicks in, we can tell you that it's still cloudy and a 49% humidity rating at the moment, 14 kilometre an hour winds. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 60 minutes on the clock. We'll head to 5 o'clock server time, which is European, Central European daylight time, of course, before this race greets the checkered flag. Some changes on season. As you can see at the moment there's nothing in the way of rain heading our way. Off-track limits will be a talking point here as well, as you saw very briefly there on Adam Lavis's menu. Some changes term on term. We noted at the end of last term that the McLaren and the Ford have been phased out of GT3, so that we can apply rain to the servers where and when we see fit.
No. And then the last update, they put them back in.
Oh, sorry?
They did another update over while we were away and put them back in.
Oh, okay, copy. But no one's gone with them in our club for tonight's race.
Okay.
Okay, so that's it. That's interesting. So there are no Fords and no McLarens on this grid, and it's interesting that they've now been given the rain. So they've been given the blessing to run in the rain, is what you're saying?
They have.
Those 2 cars. Excellent. So that recreates an even playing field again, doesn't it? Some manufacturer changes here for some of our regulars as well. Some comings and goings from Pro-Am to Am from Am up to Pro. But all in all, we're ready to rock and roll here. There is one significant change on the calendar. Instead of having 4 60-minute races and 2 90-minute races, we're now going to have 3 and 3. And we will have 4 sprint rounds as per usual. I'll give you the full breakdown of where and when at the end of the call. Simon Nicholson and Matty Dench from the front row. The more things change, the more they stay the same. From the second row, it's Richard Mitchell, Matt Aiden Luthwaite. From the third row, Aaron Cooper and Jared Knight. From the fourth row, Sam Muir and Thomas Foster. From the fifth row, Adam Burhop and David Bass. From the 6th row, it's Richard King and Jonathan Hooper. From the 7th, Fred Kahn and Jake Jackson. The 8th is Glenn Arnott and Andrew Hazard. The 9th row, Caleb Dawson, another new name to some of us, and Jermaine Takaloo. From the 10th row, Jackson Dial and Michael Edwards. From the 11th row, Greg Heaney and Matt Schmidtke, David Christensen and Paul Wood, the two teammates from row 12, Adam Chiplin and Sean Benici from 13, Zach Christie and Dane Snowden from 14, John Jennings and Dave Liddell from 15, and still they come, ladies and gentlemen. The 16th row is where you'll find Jeff Adams and Michael Hammond. The 17th row is Stephen Gallacher and Braden O'Loughlin. The 18th row, Ryan Mulder and Gary Cousins. The 19th row, Dale Sharp and Adam Proctor. The 20th row is where you'll find Daniel Piper, rounding out this 39-car field to start the campaign. Audis 1, 2 and 3. There's also a fair presence of Ferraris, 3 of them, 2 BMWs, a Lambo and a Porsche in the top 10 here. Further beyond that, you will also find a couple of the other manufacturers notably present down in the form of Mercedes with Dale Sharp. In fact, it looks like Sharp is the lone assassin, lone flyer for Mercedes here. Getting set to fly. This is Monday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Season 17 for the club, and the mainstay of prime time on a Monday night gets underway for a brand new campaign. Wait for GT3 from Italy. Look at the field turning out from left to right as they stretch down the front straight for the first time towards turn 1. Big swing down there on the inside. Aaron Cooper was it? Yes, it was. Trouble at 1. Round goes Richard Mitchum. It's a logjam. Uh-oh. And it's a roadblock. Do we have our first safety car of the season? Potentially. Have a look at it. Surely. Jeez. There's going to be some huge winners and some magnificent big losers in all of that, but thankfully common sense prevails and the safety car is deployed. It had to be. There were too many people parked there. Stationary at 1. Richard Mitchum, the big story. A crunched up front end. Simon Nicholson got the jump, led Matty Dench away. They remain 1 and 2. Aaron Cooper up 2 spots. Aidan Luthwaite remains 4th. Sam Muir, Thomas Foster, Richard King, Glenn Arnott, Adam Burhop and Jonathan Hooper make up the top 10. And the big losers in all of that include Matt Schmidtke down 8 spots into 30th, David Baz down 22, Jake Jackson down 20, Richard Mitchum down 32, Stephen Gallacher, Gary Cousins also losing out in all of that. And it all stemmed from that contact there. Aaron Cooper on Richard Mitchum. Carnage ensued. And unfortunately, any bit of contact beyond the original 2, I think is going to have to be put down to a racing incident. Because it's very hard to do anything about it when you've got nowhere to go. So Aaron Cooper may well have a case to answer. There might be a couple of others with a case to answer there in the way of the way they went about taking evasive action. But we have in race 1, lap 1 of race 1, our first safety car of the new campaign. And Simon Nicholson at a very moderate tempo brings the field around to end this opening lap at the 2 minute and 10 second mark. And you can see already, Adam Lavis, there's a little bit of fuel saving going on. These guys know full well that this race will run slightly shorter in terms of the number of laps completed now. This may also stretch out the first pit window and narrow the second.
Well, most definitely the games will be being played. There's no clutches, so they can't fully clutch. And that means they also can't really take advantage of ignitions because obviously the gears will still be engaged. Your car will slow down a bit faster. But obviously you can just minimise your throttle inputs as best you can and save that juice.
Indeed it is. The games will be on from the outset here. And it'll be interesting to see how they go about it once we get back underway as well. The cat and mouse will extend well beyond this safety car period now. Nice to see the safety car. It's been a while. Which is testament to the skill set and the cleanliness of the racecraft of these guys throughout the course of many events on a Monday night over many terms. We don't often see the safety car, but in saying that, if you're gonna see it, it's gonna be on circuits like this where you're trying to squeeze a field of almost 40 into the narrowest of chicanes at the end of a very long, very fast main straight. I was a little bit surprised that we didn't get the same outcome at Winton. I think we all were, even from the standing start, because, again, 48 cars into that opening sequence of corners, that left-right chicane, easier said than done. And they've proven here at Monza exactly why we had that thought of trepidation about Winton. So, although arguably the left-right chicane here, right-left, it is as it is at Monza, I should say, is far narrower and tighter than Winton. So, we're behind the safety car for the first time in the new campaign. Probably an opportune moment, Adam Lavis, to remind everybody what the calendar looks like since the order is status quo. Here it is for the new season, ladies and gentlemen. Monza first up. As I said, 3 90-minute races, rounds 2, 6, and 10. Make a note of round 6. And I don't think I'm here for this one. I might have to commit to calling this one from Mum and Dad's in Cessnock. The Nürburgring Nordschleife. Wow. How good's that going to be on May 20? So Le Mans for 90, Nürburgring for 90, Road America for 90. There'll be 60-minute races in rounds 1 at Monza, 5 at Mount Panorama Bathurst, and 9 at the Portimao circuit, the Algarve International Circuit in Portimao, Portugal. The sprint rounds come in from Road Atlanta in round 8, as well as round 7 at Suzuka. That'll be good, actually. That'll spice Suzuka up just nicely. At round 3, we won't see Nick Fodiatis here. Sebring International, and I'm not here for that one either at this stage. But the Red Bull Ring I will be here for in round 4. So that's exciting. Yeah, I'm a little bit annoyed that I missed round 6, and I'm potentially I've said to Adam Lavis that it's just round 6 at the moment, but I dare say it's round 5 for GT3 as well, because I'm meant to be driving to Cessnock that day. I'll see what I can do, because I don't feel as though I should miss Mount Panorama or the Nürburgring. Leave it with me. Now, what's interesting here, Adam Lavis, is we wipe the calendar off the screen. Have a look at the pit lane activity already. Have a look at the amount of drivers trying to go reverse strat now. This will be good. David Baz, Jake Jackson, Richard Mitchum, Dale Sharp, Gary Cousins, all on the lane. Jermaine Takalu, Glenn Arnott has already been in. He came in at the end of that lap. Jared Knight, Jackson Dial, and also Adam Burholt. So all those drivers have come in the hope that they can two-stop it. They can one-stop it from here. Last time around, it was 3:26, 3:35 for Simon Nicholson. So, I mean, that's easily a minute and a half slower than the usual standing fast lap times that we're accustomed to around here. So that wipes a fair bit of time off the clock. But it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, and whether zigging when everybody else has zagged is going to be the right way to go. Certainly Nicholson and Dench seem content with playing the long game, and so do many others. But it doesn't hurt to try something, given that we normally talk about that fuel window being around that 25, 26-minute marker.
Indeed, there's going to be plenty of strategy going on here. A lot of the boys, whether there still will probably most likely be 2 stops, I believe. Yes, or it could be close. It might be a very close to be stretch, depending how much time this safety car takes up. They are still burning fuel, so it's not completely free, but it is very heavily discounted.
We're almost at the 8-minute mark of this race. Probably 9 minutes by the time we get back to the start-finish line. So, just going through the field, I mentioned there earlier that we've got 6 different manufacturers. If there's a way that we can show the manufacturers on the totem pole there, Adam Lavis, let's do that, just to give everybody a bit of an idea. The Mercedes of Dale Sharp is the only Mercedes in the field. Audi's got a stronger representation in the form of Richard Mitchum, Dave Riddell, Ryan Mulder, David Christensen, Michael Hammond, and also Matty Dench and Simon Nicholson. Porsche's still got its usual amount of love. BMW has got a particularly good presence. Ferrari, we know the numbers have been strong there, but the big increase, the big change season on season is the amount of Lambos on the grid. Have a look at that. There's Lambos everywhere. Sam Muir, Andrew Hazard, Greg Heaney. The lights out on the safety car, or are we going around again?
They're out.
They're out, so we're going green this time by. Paul Woods in a Lambo this turn. Matt Schmidtke, Stephen Gallacher, and Jake Jackson as well. So a stronger presence of Lambos on this grid. Let's see what reward they'll reap for their car selection and choice at the end of this term. Back to green we'll go. It'll be Simon Nicholson and Matthew Dench bringing the field back to the starter. The field is in control of Simon Nicholson. When he puts the foot down, we go racing. Let's get back to work. Nicholson, a very nice restart. He was the one put in charge of controlling the field, but he didn't waste any time whatsoever in getting back stuck into it. Caleb Dawson making light work there on the first corner on the inside of Greg Heaney, up in the 10th spot. Greg Heaney is 11th, Michael Edwards, Zach Christie, Fred Kahn, and Jeff Adams in behind them. Then Michael Hammond in 16th place. Simon Nicholson and Matty Dench lead the way. The two teammates looking to take off. Aaron Cooper hoping to keep them honest. Aidan Loothwaite's the one you've got to keep an eye on. Geez, he was impressive in the latter stages of last term. Nice move there on the inside. Paul Wood on Chiplin. So Wood up into 19th. And an opportunistic move too. There's a risk factor attached to anything in these early stages, but when the field's bunched up, there's also the onus on that being the best time to make your move and make it stick. And make inroads and be the beneficiary. And that's what Paul Wood's looking to do here.
So
David Christensen, his next target. Here on the inside, Loothwaite around the outside. Got by Cooper.
I'm surprised. So Cooper's was thinking that obviously that he's got damage. But was he pitting now? Oh no, Cooper, that's strategy suicide.
Yep, that is strategic suicide for Aaron Cooper, no doubt about that.
He might be able to make it on one stop though. That might be what he was thinking. Maybe he's trying to stretch this now. Might have thought with the safety car going in where it did, it might have been too much of a risk. Where at least now, although he's going to be at the back of the field, he may be able to stretch this just to one stop.
May have clear real estate as well. May have clear real estate. And if he's going for one stop from here, theoretically he should be able to, hit the ground running flat, full tilt, rather than having to worry about, a little bit of coasting or saving. Like the likes of Dench and Nicholson will be doing. But the difference is, with Dench and Nicholson, they can do that and still be bloody fast. So keep your eyes peeled. A lot going on here. There's Fred Kahn in 12th place. Down to the inside, Michael Edwards trying to get by. Edwards trying to get by. Oh, couldn't get it done on Burhop. Burhop holds on to 13th for the moment. But he's down 4 spots on where he started. Still the best place of anyone to have stopped, actually. Fair number of cars did stop on that opening lap. Stephen Gallich is still on pit road, has been for 2 minutes 20. Glenn Arnott's back on pit road right now. Jermaine Tackle is parked up and out of business. He's the first retirement of the night. So we're down to 38 already. It could be 37 or 36 very quickly with Glenn Arnott on the tow rope and Stephen Gallacher having been in pit lane and down a lap already for 2 minutes and 42 seconds. In fact, he's about to go down 2 laps to Stephen Gallacher. So it's a long road back from there for those blokes. But remembering, of course, if they complete 75% of the race distance in relativeness to the race leader, then they can still be classified. But they've got to be mindful about time, fast repairs, etc. and so forth, because at the end it ends up just becoming a complete and utter waste of time, considering the championship points only stretched out so far down the ladder as well. Simon Nicholson and Matty Dench, look at the lead they've opened up already. 1.9 seconds from Dench back to Loothwaite, and Dench is just letting Nicholson tow him along. These two blokes are going along just beautifully. 147.755 for Matt Dench compared to Simon Nicholson's 147.764. New beauty. So Hooper in 8th place at the moment, and in behind him is Dawson and Christie. Heaney up there in 11th, and he's got Fred Kahn for company at the moment. And it's 14 minutes gone here, ladies and gentlemen. This is only lap 6, given that we've had 2 laps behind the safety car. Safety car getting deployed on lap 1. This is what happened to Dave Riddell. Oh, turn 1 become... oh, no. Turn 1 became a parking lot again. Everybody crept to a standstill. Oh dear. 14.5 minutes gone. Nicholson, Dench, Luthwaite, Newer, Foster, King, Hazard, then Hooper. So far so good. Dawson and Christie 9 and 10. Heaney, Khan, Burhoff. Then Adams, Hammond, Wood getting by Edwards. Christensen there as well. Knight and Skadden make up the top 20. Knight the first of those to have stopped with the exception of Burhoff. He's got Jackson Dial for company. They're down 13 and 1 positions respectively. Uh-oh. Braden O'Loughlin in the wars again. Down to 36th place. So both Sean Benici and Braden O'Loughlin actually stopped at the end of lap 5. Had no choice with the damage sustained there. Stephen Gallacher 3 minutes and 3 seconds in the lane and has got back out. But again, as I say, 2 and a bit laps down. Glenn Arnott's still on pit road, has been for 3 minutes. So already some genuine top 10, top 15 contenders out of contention and struggling. Just fighting to salvage something out of tonight. Were you surprised, Adam Lavis, when you got in here and had a look at the server and saw just how many blokes had gone for the Lambo? We kind of knew that Dench and Nicholson were going to go for the Audi based on the way they played the last round of the previous term. But I'm a little bit surprised at the increased interest in the Lambo because that had started to waver.
Well, I'm thinking because Woodsy was planning on going to the Lambo anyway, and he was worried whether he was making the right decision. But there's a few other guys that have joined him, so hopefully that makes him feel like a bit more correct in his decisions. So he's sitting in the back of the shot there in the teal Lambo. So hopefully it goes well for him and with the other guys as well. But the Lambo is a very nice little car, very much like the old Audi, and so a lot of the guys will enjoy it. Oh, it's on again.
Hooper in 9th place at the moment. He's got Christie for company, and they're both going after Dawson. Christie's got the best of the run here. He's well placed down the inside to try and get by Hooper. Hooper trying to keep him at bay, unable to do so. Christie around the outside. Job done. Can go over the shoot of Dawson now. So well done, Jonathan Hooper. 10th place. Christie is 9th, Heaney is 11th, and it's a log jam of traffic from Dawson all the way back to Burhoff at the moment. Have a look at them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in pretty close succession there. Dench and Nicholson continuing to open up the advantage over Luthwaite. Nearly 3 seconds to the good now. And they're doing it without really stretching their legs too much. 147.755 from Matty Dench. The fastest lap of the race. Those two boys still in the 47s. Everybody else plodding along in the 48s and 49s at this point of the motor race. 18 minutes gone. 8 laps in. 2 minutes off hitting third race distance in terms of the time certainty marker here. And as I say, when you're looking at about 1 minute and 3/4 per lap, bearing in mind that we've already lost potentially a couple of laps there because of the slowness of those 2 laps under the safety car. They were almost 50% the speed limit, or 50%, 100% slower, so double the amount of time compared to a flying lap around. That will impact the clock a little bit, and that will impact the lap count. But originally, you would have been looking at 4 laps every 7 minutes. You would have been therefore looking at 32 laps in 56 minutes, throwing a couple of transits down pit lane, and you probably would have been looking at 34. Don't be surprised if we get that 32, 33 marker, ladies and gentlemen, on the Zaculator for bingo tonight. One of my favourite aspects of working on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club for, 4 years now. Can you believe it? 4 years we've been doing this.
Yeah,
Burhop.
around about now, 4 years ago. That's when we started doing the stock cars. Oh, who's off?
Oh, no! Off! Is that Luthwaite?
Hang Dawson.
And, oh, jeez, can you believe it? It wasn't Luthwaite, my apologies. I've got that one wrong. It might have been Fred Kahn. Fred Kahn and Zach Christie. Let's have a look at it. Dawson definitely down on the inside. Gets into the side of... Was that Christie?
That's Dawson and... What's the business? Business BMW. That'd be Fred Kahn, yeah.
Yeah, because Kahn and Christie were both in BMWs and they're both in whiskey business. So that's why I wasn't...
No, it was
certain.
Christie.
It was Christie. So Kahn's at the end of that train, as you look at it on the screen there. So he'll come through and be the beneficiary of that garbage. There he is. So back... Oh, no. Trouble down on the run towards the end of the second sector. Ryan Mulder has come unstuck in a big way on the subject of whiskey business. That is risky where he's at. Oh dear. And he had to be very careful in getting his way out of there too, given that he was on the racing line and everybody was coming hurtling towards him. 21 minutes gone. We're a third of the way through the race. The opening instalment of Waste Options GT3 for the new season. 10 rounds, 4 sprint rounds, 3 60-minute races, 3 90-minute races this campaign. We're very excited about all of that. A couple of new circuits to look forward to as well. The potential for weather to wreak havoc throughout the course of the season. There's never been a more exciting season of Gentleman Sim Racing Club action to look forward to in terms of that general hype and excitement and anticipation, ladies and gentlemen, because the weather's a game changer. It reinvents the wheel, and it occasionally needs rejuvenating and revitalising and to have new life breathed into it. Thankfully, the Tempest weather system has done just that. Right on board with Michael Edwards now in 19th place. And he is chasing Jackson Dial at the moment. He's got Dane Snadden for company behind him too. Nicholson and Dench across the line to complete lap 10, start lap 11. They 3.75 seconds up the road from Aidan Luthwaite. He's got 3.1 seconds on Sam Muir. He's got Thomas Foster for company. Then Andrew Hazard and Richard King. Then Adam Burhop, Jonathan Hooper, Fred Kahn, Greg Heaney, Michael Hammond, Jeff Adams, Zach Christie, Paul Wood, all in a train at the moment, all in slipstream in paradise. Then Jared Knight, David Christensen, then these guys, Jackson Dial, Michael Edwards and Dane Snadden. So even though I've rattled off 20 names there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is only the 6th battle pack in that top 20, because one of them happens to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cars deep at this point in time. Exciting. Fred Kahn in the top 10 at the moment. We've already had some pit stops. There are strategic gamesmanship mind games going on out there, left, right and centre right now, because there are those that are committed to only stopping once from here. There are those that may have to stop twice, and there are those that are confident that they can go run the long game here and only stop once. What could trip them up, though, Adam Lavis, is the timing of that last lap and just how far past the hour we may have to go. That has been the downfall of so many in the past.
Indeed, we will see. Because it's still only... They're going to get to probably, I'd say, at least 35 to 37 minutes into the race to be safe to be able to make it home. Because as we know, it's about 24 to 26 minutes of fuel. This is obviously a fairly throttle-heavy track, so it's probably going to be on the lower end of that scale. But also, with the long braking zones, you can also save some fuel. So, it's just a matter of whether these guys can push the limit to. And with the fact that Simon Nicholson has actually been the caboose at the moment for Denchi, there's a good chance he might be able to save it.
Look at this. Michael Hammond in the thick of it at the moment, trying to argue the point with Greg Heaney down the inside. Heaney will stick to the outside line and force the issue down at the next chicane, and he'll have the inside running for the left-hander, but if Hammond can go with him, no, Hammond's got across and covered that off nicely. Then opens the door back up. Heaney dives back down the inside. Hammond's going to have the inside running on the exit of the chicane and the momentum to hold on as well. And Heaney's opened the door, unfortunately. Heaney's opened the door, and Jeff Adams wants to capitalise and have a piece of that as well. Nicely done. Jeff's car's looking mint as well. Just quietly have a look at the amount of yellow on that thing. Round they come. Back straight again. Jeff Adams holding down 13. Still trying to find a way by Greg Heaney. Zach Christie and Jared Knight in there as well. It is on in earnest here at Monza, the Temple of Speed. How good for a Monday night. Nicely done, Jeff Adams. Heaney has to yield. Heaney has to.
Greg took a big risk there. That big curb there on the last apex of Ascari, it can easily bottom the car out, and you can get a big wheelie and go straight on.
Yep, Heaney had to bail out of that one for the time being.
And here comes Jared Knight on the recovery trail after lap 1, turn 1.
Yep, because Knight and Christie made their way by as he bobbled over those real estate. Real estate of
interesting, Hammond in the lane.
AstroTurf and speed humps.
Interesting, Hammond. A few of them in the lane now, so they've saved no fuel into the safety car.
None at all. And so they're all in now, conceding defeat on the one stop. They're committed to 2 stops from here, you would imagine, unless they're hoping for another safety car. Could we see another safety car? That would really spice things up. I mean, it would have to take something pretty big, with the field now very firmly spread out. We'll wait and see. It's Zach Christie in 12th place and Jeff Adams in 11th. Jared Knight in behind them, that Ferrari looking, as we saw earlier, we've lost for where off goes Christie!
That's Jeff's gone.
Unfortunately, off goes Jeff Adams as well. Christie was taking evasive action. Jared Knight's the beneficiary of that. Oh dear. 27 minutes gone, and now the incidents are starting to creep into the game. Did Christie help Adams? Did Christie help Adams? That's the only question I have with regards to that incident. Riding with him now, Christie's just riding the bumper of Adams, and it's giving him a little bit of a love tap on the way out. Yeah. Had to see that one coming. They've been too bunched up. Too close for too long. The bump drafting doesn't work mid-corner. Here's Sam Muir in 3rd place. So Muir, because Luthwaite's came in, so too has Hazard, Hooper, Khan, Dial and Edwards. They're all in. Jennings as well. So all of a sudden, this is just opening up quite nicely for the likes of Adam Burhop and Jared Knight, if you don't mind me saying so. Burhop and Knight, there's 7 seconds between them on the racetrack, so it's looking very good for Adam Burhop.
I got a feeling
right now.
Most people will be next lap because there's a big chunk of cars in the lane this lap.
Huge chunk of traffic on pit road this time round. And we're at the end of lap 13 as they pit. So Hazard, Khan, Hooper, Proctor, Cousins, Dial, Edwards. so too Chiplin, Jennings, Adams, and Benici that time around. Oh boy. It's slowly but surely opening up just nicely into a real intriguing contest in regards to the strategy play here. We are looking at 1, 2, 7 cars that haven't yet transited the lane, make it 8 with Daniel Piper in 14th. 7 of the top 10 have not yet transited the lanes. Snowden Christie being 2 of them. And also, as Richard Mitchum comes up into 9th place, also the top 5, Nicholson, Dench, Muir, Foster and King. Do they jump to the lane this time by? Yes, they do. It's at the it's at the 29-minute mark. I don't think any of them are going to make it from here.
Nah.
Just quietly, Adam Lavis.
Not if it remains.
It's going to be very spicy.
Not if it remains green, it'll be a splash and dash.
What about Aaron Cooper? Does this open up just nicely for him?
I got a feeling that Denchi's going to jump Nicholson here because he surely would have been saving fuel.
Maybe
Burhop,
no.
Yeah, Burhop took a take advantage because Burhop did pit on a safety car. Got a little splash. He'll get an extra lap out of this.
Yep, absolutely he will.
There you go, as predicted. There goes Denchi.
Here we go. So Denchi's happy, but Denchi is also, I think, playing. Oh, hang on.
Oh no, I think
they got a penalty.
I think he got that. Might have been what he was weaving about. I think he might have been upset with himself.
Yeah, I think Nico's got a penalty. Can you believe that? All the hard work undone in a couple of tenths, couple of hundredths of a second. Extraordinary. Unlucky for Nico. He's stopped and held at pit lane exit. Burhop the leader, Mitchum second, and Denchi third. So, Denchi now stopped for 18.52 seconds. Let's ride with Nicholson, and let's see how this all fell apart.
Oh, he's way too deep.
Oh, yeah. Way too committed to that.
Yeah, and then he's upset with himself. I was wondering what the weaving is about.
He's just letting Denchi know, you're going to have to go on without me, mate. You're going to have to soldier on for the rest of the night without me. So Burhop and Mitchum lead this race, but for how long? I mean, it's pretty clear to all of us watching on that everybody's going to have to transit the lane one more time. Can these guys get to lap 16 at least and make it interesting for them for a 26, 27-minute run? Oh, no, trouble. Is that Richard Mitchum or one of his teammates? It's not Mitchum. It's Stephen Gallagher who's come undone. How good has this race been so far? The safety cars lined it up just nicely. There's all sorts of different strategies playing out. Denchi went a long fuel, so it doesn't look like he's going to be short stinting here. It looks as though he's going to go long and then just come in for a top up.
Woodsy's jumped Hammond by a fair chunk in the stops here between man and teammate. So now the teal Lambo is in front of the teal Audi.
Down the inside. Oh, not much in that. Not much in that at all. Door opens up. Opportunity here. They're arguing over the same piece of real estate. The elbows are out. They're nudging. They're nipping. Cooper holds Hammond at bay for the moment. And Hammond will be right there to have a crack on the inside as they get down to turn 1.
Here comes
that time round. So that time around. Oh, Aaron Cooper. Sorry, not Aaron Cooper. No, Adam Burhop. Yes, Adam Burhop gets back out after stopping in 10th place. Right in front of these two, Cooper and Hammond. So Dench has taken the lead, and Aaron Cooper has elevated himself up at a second into real genuine contention now. Then, but we are expecting him in pit lane any tick of the clock. Then Aidan Luthway. What's interesting for Aaron Cooper is he's only 1.43 seconds away from Denchi. So if Denchi's got to stop again, it's on. Once Aaron Cooper has finished his second stop, which will be a full tank stop and a full fuel drop. Here is Hooper under pressure. Hammond down the inside. Hooper staying there. The elbows are out. There was a little bit of contact between those two cars. Hammond then got across to cover off the car in behind of Richard Mitchum. The three of them are separated by a coat of varnish here as they go under the bridge. Hooper on the inside. Mitchum in the middle, Hammond the outside, Mitchum diving down and Hooper Hammond going deep, right around the outside of Hooper and job done. How about that from Michael Hammond? Hooper slots back in. And now Mitchum's got all this work to do. Aaron Cooper to the pit lane. The field is now cleansed in our opinion. Mitchum diving to the inside. Goes deep, very deep. Pulls it up nicely. Hooper still forcing the issue there on the outside. It'll be a drag race down the lane straight. And Hooper will have the toe. Oh, jeez. I think there was a little bit of wheel banging there. A little bit of arguing the point. Look at the straight line poke for Hammond. And also for Mitchum being the beneficiary there because Hammond was towing him along there momentarily. Oh, and look at this up the outside as well. It is all happening here. Hooper and Mitchum, a little bit of contact. Mitchum fed some sand.
Jared Knight
is better than Hooper and Jackson Dial, the beneficiaries of that.
Jared Knight's like, oh, these guys are having a party. Don't mind if I do. I'll take all of them.
Thanks very much for coming. Jared Knight moves up into 11th spot. The next target for him is 1M Hammond. It's spicy, Adam. It's good.
And this is the interesting thing is this is probably the first time we've actually broadcast the pros at Monza in a while because it just always happens to be the week we normally do the AM guys, and we always hear stories of the big crashes and everything the guys have at Monza. So we're actually getting to see it for a change. And although we had it wasn't really a big crash, it's a bit of a congestion problem at the start of the race, but the racing has been very top notch. It's been very good. The guys are giving each other a lot of respect in the racing room, and it's good to see.
Indeed.
Like even Mikey, like the fact that Mikey went through a few corners and was patient enough to give Hooper space for multiple corners in a row. There's a lot of other drivers in the club who probably wouldn't have the same experience with Mikey at some points, but it's good to see him doing the right thing and just leaving that amount of space and getting real good racing through the track. And also, Hooper also had a part to play there because obviously he takes two to dance.
Absolutely. So race control will have a bit of work to do. There's been a few incidents tonight that'll require a little bit of adjudication. In the meantime, Jared Knight holds down 11th. Under pressure here, Hooper. Trying to get down on the inside, not close enough. They're trying to reel in Michael Hammond. It's all happening. 36 minutes gone, 24 to go. We're 60% of the way there. 3/5 race distance, 5:12 to 60.
You'll never guess who currently has most positions gained.
Paul Wood? No, Michael Hammond.
It's actually Hammond.
It is actually Mikey Hammond. Can you believe that? He started 32nd. That's not like Mikey. To start that far down the order. So what's going to be interesting now, Adam, is, well, okay, let's go to the bottom of the tree. Jermaine Takalu's out. Glenn Arnott may as well be. He's not going to get home on 75% race distance classification, nor is Jake Jackson. David Baz is out there, but he's 4 laps down. Zach Christie's parked up, 3 laps down, and his night's done. Stephen Gallich is out there a lap down. So there are 33 drivers at the moment still on the lead lap. That's about to be 32 because Braden O'Loughlin's about to be lapped by Matty Dench. And it has been. So Matt Schmidtke's the last car on the lead lap at the moment. 32 cars on the lead lap. Looking at the clock, we're now inside the fuel window. You can stop here, top the tank up, and get home. And given that we believe everybody except maybe Aaron Cooper has to do that, the gloves are about to come
Ooh, Thomas Foster.
Deep dive down the inside. Foster on Newer, the first time we've looked at the top 3 or the top end of town in a while, and these guys are 8.5 seconds down the road from the second place Aidan Luthwaite in the BMW, and Matty Dench is 7.5 seconds ahead of him. So it's a spread out top 3 and a log jammed mid pack at Monza. Dench flying on his own, on his lonesome, without Simon Nicholson, who in amongst all of this has rejoined in 17th place after a 58-second stop, but he will not be happy about it. He'll be filthy. Aidan Luthwaite is second and proving what a young star he is for risky business. Then you got Thomas Foster having just got by Sam Muir, who had driven so beautifully and held third down for the longest time here. The first of the Lambos. 4 different manufacturers in the top 4 different manufacturers in the top 10. 3 BMWs, 3 Lambos. 2 Audis, 2 Ferraris. Audis 1 and 10. BMWs 2, 7, and 9. Ferraris 3 and 6. Lambos 4, 5, and 8. And Paul Wood up 16 spots. Michael Hammond up 22 spots. Andrew Hazard up 11 spots. That's the top 10 for you, the biggest movers within it. Adam Burhop remains where he started, which is just extraordinary. And so does Jonathan Hooper, for that matter. Anybody else? No. There have been a few retirements. But for the most part, yeah. It has been a very, very hectic night at the office for these guys ever since the green flag waved for the second time here after those 2 laps under caution. Or 3 laps under caution, because the race got put into neutral mode after the first sector, when we realised that turn 1 and 2 was a car park, a parking lot. They had to clear everybody away from the scene. So Jackson Vial is in 13th place. Go, Adam.
So, as we've known from past experience, the SDK off-track counter isn't the most reliable source. However, Denchi is now on 20 according to SDK. So, I wonder how close that is to actual tracks, because I do see his name popping up a little bit, just pushing the limits of the track. So, Luthwaite also on 20, and then we got Fred Carnes on 17 and Sam Muir on 15 according to SDK, as I said. Probably less than that in reality, because there's probably a few that are a little bit different or been updated in iRacing's back end. But the fact that it is showing that many is means there's probably a chance that there's a few on their scoreboard. And I think they have, in a 1 hour race, I believe they have 17 in the Pro Split to play with.
Copy. Dench, Luthwaite, Foster, Ben Muir, Hazard, Ben King, Khan, Wood, Burhop, and Hammond, the top 10 at the moment. Some other big movers include Dane Snadden, up 14 spots from 28th to 14th. Adam Proctor from 38th to 22nd, and Dale Sharp from 37th to 24th. Gary Cousins from 36th to 25th, and Daniel Piper from 39th up to 26th. Everybody else beyond that has gone thoroughly backwards, including Richard Mitchum now, having transited the lane 3 times. 25 positions lost for Mitchum tonight. There's Jared Knight down on the inside of Michael Hammond. Jared, the top 10. Nice charge. Knight now running the Ferrari, getting by the Audi of Hammond, but they're going to go for a drag race down the main straight of the Temple of Speed. Hammond's right there. These two have their history. They've had their moments. And they're very, very close. They're too close for comfort right now. On the run down to turn 1 as the road narrows. The width of it at least narrows on the run down to turn 1. Knight goes long, goes deep, goes wide, and tightens it up through turn 2 to get ahead of Michael Hammond and consolidate the spot. Well done. Looking out the back to Hammond right now, the 007 won't like that. He's now up only 21 spots. He's still the biggest mover of the night. Back down the inside. Is he going to have a dive? No. Thinks better of it. Try and set himself up for another crack a little bit further on. He's Fred Kahn, and he's got Paul Wood for company. So Woodsy, one of the big movers of the night as well, up 16 spots. Aussie racers have a habit of being most positions gained, don't they? "17 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock. We're well and truly inside that fuel window now. It's just a case of who's got to stop and when, and how much fuel they want to. They've got to take, and when they decide to pull the trigger. We're under no illusions. Here we go. Hammond and Knight straight into pit lane now. We weren't under any sort of illusion that the bulk of the field was coming to the lane again. The only one that we seem to think is going to be okay here is Aaron Cooper. Actually, speaking of which, where has he dropped to on our leaderboard? Just quietly. 17th place. after that second stop. Everyone ahead of him, with the exception of... No, everyone ahead of him is expected to stop again. Oh, look at this! Jackson Dial! Jonathan Hooper and Dane Snadden. Oh. Zach Christie's had enough. He's gone. Oh, there goes Jackson Dial, one of your teammates, Zach. Off the road. Opens the door. Dane Snadden goes through into 10th. Not sure what Zach's frustrated about more, actually. The fact that he is parked up or the incident itself. I'm sure we'll find out in due course. That's a fairly formal way of announcing it. Well, fairly public way of announcing your grievances on the forum. I'll let the club handle that one. Have a look at this down the inside. Dial relegated to 12th. Down there on the inside goes Simon Nicholson on the comeback trail. Up into 11th place now. Still down 10 on where he started. Dench, Bluthwaite, Foster, Muir, Hazard the top 5. King, Khan, Burhop, Snadden, Nicholson the top 10. Have a look at the weaving going on here. Dial a little bit frustrated in 11th place, trying to get by Nicholson, who's trying to get by Snadden. And just going further down, we can tell you that Paul Wood's coming to pit lane, so too Jonathan Hooper. So a couple of these guys now pitting for the run to the checkered flag. 15 minutes to go. We're into the final quarter. It's been hectic from the outset here. It really has. Whoa, have a look at this. Down the inside. Dial on Snadden. Can't get it done. Snadden left more than enough room there. But Dial was unable to find a way through. 1 second the difference between Foster and Muir. That battle for third still raging. Final spot on the podium there for the taking. Either the Ferrari or the Lambo. Thank you for the feedback, Zach. Appreciate that, mate. We wish you well. Hopefully, he reconsiders and calms down a little bit after, you know, the red mist disappears, as they say. But I get it. I mean, I've had my moments in recent weeks, not in sim racing, but just in general life, where you feel as though you just need to do what's best for you and pull the pin. I get it. Adam Burhop down the inside. Got him. Job done on Fred Kahn. And Fred Kahn drops back into 8th place. Simon Nicholson, Dane Snadden, 9th and 10th. Dial, Chiplin, Edwards and Jennings in behind them. Jennings up 15 spots himself. Oh, jeez. Dial nipping at the heels of Snadden. He's been there for a while. And just looking for a way through. Got him. Chance here on the inside. Can he get it done? Snadden, very sportsmanlike, very gentlemanly-like, to leave the door open and let him on through. Dial goes into the top 10.
That'll probably be one of those ones Snadden will look back at and replay and go, oh, left way too much room there.
Absolutely. Aidan Luthwaite and Fred Kahn and Jackson Dial, 3 Whiskey Business drivers in the top 10 at the moment. Greg Heaney, what happened to... I haven't seen Greg for a while. What happened to him? He's down in 24th place after getting... Did he get caught up in an incident?
Oh, Richard.
Whoa! Michael Hammond and Richard Mitchum. Oof. Whoa. Jeez. So I'm just wondering now that Greg Heaney stopped on lap 21. I think he's good to go to the end. So once this field cleanses, we'll get a better indication as to where Greg's running. Down the main straight. Adam Burhop 7th at the moment, running well. having a good, strong run. The green lights shine brightly at the Monza circuit in Italy, the Temple of Speed. Have a look at the cloud cover over there at the moment. The clouds are looming in the distance, but no rain on the radar on the way here. So it's a dry first up outing for GT3 for Waste Options Monday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club Term 2, Week 1, Night 1, 2024. Season 17 for this club. It's good.
So yeah, with the way the forecast rolled for this race, it was the cloud cover was ranging between 30 to 60%, and sort of like a waving throughout the day and a half they're here. But also there was a couple of little spots where there was like a little 5% chance of rain popped in. So there was a little chance of a sprinkle here and there, but they've got away with it with no rain tonight. But yeah, there's at least, I believe from memory, there's at least 3 rounds where a little bit of rain is possible, I believe, with the way the current forecast has rolled out. Luthwaite in the lane.
So Aidan Luthwaite, the first to the front pack to really pull the trigger here and bring himself down pit road. 25 laps gone, 10 minutes to go. Matty Dench on lap 26. Doing a nice job controlling this race. Foster and Muir go on by. Luthwaite and Hazard on pit lane to top up to get the checkered flag.
Oh, the other thing... Well, we got a new subscriber to the broadcast.
There we go. Stick around. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a post-race show coming up. We'll hear from all these drivers. A couple we definitely want to have a chat to with regards to manufacturer selection for the new season. Get their thoughts on the calendar as well. I know there were a few people excited about the Nordschleife.
Well, speaking of the calendar and also the big bright spotlights that Sam's got in front of his carriers reminded me. So when we get to the calendar, given that we've got 3 tracks that are sort of, well, it's really 4, but I didn't want to stretch it with the Nürburgrings. But there's 3 other tracks that are sort of renowned for having races that go into nighttime, being Sebring, Road, Atlanta, and another one which is next week at Le Mans. Yep. Out of those 3, I've got 2 of them going into a sunset, and one of them has a sunrise race, just to have a little bit of ambience to the broadcast.
I like it. I like it. Nothing wrong with that. Flash graphics. Hello, John. Tuning in as per usual via Twitch.
Yeah, John. We got to see your very Larry new supercar livery you did for Jackson. It was very fresh.
Very nice. Very crisp. No doubt about that. What's going to be interesting here is here's Adam Chiplin in 19th place at the moment. Up the outside, trying to get by Greg Heaney, who's 18th. And Michael Edwards is right there as well. They're fighting for the final 3 spots in the 20. Dench, Foster, Muir to pit road. Dench is out. Foster and Muir haven't even pulled up into their pit box yet. Richard King's there as well. So this is the point in the race in which the field should be cleansed as far as the top end of the tree is concerned. Burhop goes to second. How long can he stay there? Can he get to the checkered flag? We'll wait and see.
Burhop's got a few extra laps up his sleeves, the other guys.
Yes, but how much time is there on the clock? There's 8 minutes. So, I mean, if we're being fair dinkum, we're talking 5 laps here. Can he hold on for 5 laps? I'm not sure. I don't think he'd be terribly sure either. Luthwaite, Foster, Muir, that order remains status quo. No change there. Aaron Cooper, still the beneficiary at the moment. Staring down the top 5 finish if Burhop does have to stop.
Well, Cooper's the one we're not sure about whether he might be able to stretch us or not. So we'll have to wait and see.
Down the inside. Someone getting very excited about the fact that Adam Burhop jumped up the order. Not yet. We're waiting to see where he will be if he has to stop again and where he's going to come out into the mix. So it's Dench, Burhop, Lutzwaite, Foster, Muir, Cooper, Hazard, King, Wood, and Nicholson. Wood up 15 spots. Hammond only up 18 now, having dropped back down, completed his second stop. Richard Mitchum's up 10. Down 10, up in 13th on the comeback trail. And here's Paul Wood holding onto a top 10 spot at the moment, but he's got Nicholson, Khan, Knight hovering.
So Cooper's going to got one lap more on Burhop. So if Cooper is with a chance, maybe Burhop is also with a chance. So it might be a small chance, but a chance is a chance. Nope, no chance. He's in the lane.
There we go. So
Yeah,
that answers that. Burhop will drop down the order now.
He's already.
Where will he come out?
He's already coming out. Here he comes.
Aaron Cooper to 5th, as we expected. He really had. We weren't sure when he stopped on lap 4 what the hell he was thinking, but it's actually worked very much into his favour. Good strategic play to end up exactly where he started at this point of the motor race for Aaron Cooper. 5 seconds down on Muir, but right out in front of Hazard, who'll be looking to potentially deny him a top 5 finish and move up into 5th himself and move up 11 spots in the process of this 1 hour race. At the moment, if Cooper can stay there, 5 different manufacturers in the top 5. What a story that is.
So looking at the picture there, the longest green flag stint is 12 laps. So that would suggest that Cooper may be coming in the end of this lap, which would be a little bit too short for him, unfortunately. Oh, Woodsy said a slow down.
They really do hurt around here. They're real. That's cruel.
He's still suffering.
For Paul Wood, especially this late in the race, that is a huge blow.
Still more love than the marker in the forward there, Jackson.
Yes. One solo flyer for the Merc tonight, but no McLarens and no Fords. Jeez, what a day it's been. We are in the final stages here, folks. Matty Dench will come back to the line this time by, and it'll be touch and go as to whether it's...
And as predicted, Cooper is in the lane.
Aaron Cooper in the lane. So, we thought it was a good strategic play.
I was worried about it.
It ends up not being so.
I think he just needed...
Maybe he needed to go one lap longer.
I reckon at least 2 laps longer, suffer that damage for 2 laps, then come in. That probably would have been the way to go.
Yeah.
Like the damage would have been annoying, unless he had a meatball. If he had a meatball, he was probably hamstrung and had to pit. Otherwise, he gets DQ'd. So if his hand was forced, that's unfortunate. But if he did have that choice, that's unlucky. He should have. That's a slight miscalculation on the laps.
Dench, Luthwaite, Foster, Muir, Hazard, the top 5 now. So Hazard up 11 spots and no Porsches in the top 10 now. 3 Ferraris, 3 Bimmers, 2 Mercs and 2 Lambos. Jake Slade joining the club and is very keen to get involved. You're right. I've heard some mixed reports on official racing. No, we're a friendly bunch of people here most of the time. But that's not to say that we're not a competitive bunch either. These guys, once the green flag waves, they get down to business, the gloves come off. But looking forward to having you on board, mate. Thanks for joining the club, keeping me in the job, or helping to keep me in the job, I should say, for the rest of this year. 2.25 minutes to go. Greg Brooks with the early morning that everybody else was thinking. Now, Matty Dench. Need to keep an eye on him, Adam Lavis, because I think next time by will be a white flag in the air.
Right. Yeah.
In fact, 2 minutes to go, and he's only halfway through lap 30. It is white flag in the air next time by.
He's at the Lesbos now, so.
White flag in the air next time by.
But yeah,
we will get to 31. So there was my, as I said earlier in the piece, I knew we were going to lose probably 2 racing laps out of all of this because of the slowness of laps 1, 2, and 3. And it ends up being a 31 lap race. Have a look at this down the outside. Greg Heaney trying to hold on to 17. Adam Chiplin. Chiplin's got his nose in front, but Heaney's got the run out of the corner, I think. Yep, very well done, Greg Heaney. Go for it, Adam.
As since the league, the only officials I've done is pretty much the enduros, like the Bathurst 12-hour and the Nürburgrings and things like that, and then maybe a handful here and there just to sort of bump my I rating a little bit to help the team out for splits. But yeah, it's more just once she's oh no, Chiplin.
Oh jeez. And Michael Hammond was showing off track there a short time ago as well. So Adam Chiplin's thrown it down the road and has lost a bunch of spots. Back down to 21st. Outside the top 20 now for Adam Chiplin. Overcommitted to the left-hander. Caught the curb. Maybe caught a bit of the side of Greg Heaney's door. Ends up going for a little bit of a detour out of there to get himself out of trouble. Dench is on the way home. Thomas Foster holding on to third for dear life with Sam Muir all over the back of him like a cheap suit. 25 seconds on the clock. And Muir's got one last chance to have a crack. Alan Burhop back to pit lane now as well.
Oh, that's unfortunate. He's
miscalculated.
drama here. He was doing so well tonight too.
He was. He'll hear about that, I'm sure, from his followers and fans. Oh dear. Bad luck, Adam Burhop outside the top 10 now. So that doesn't change things. It means with Burhop's demise, it means that it's now 3 Audis in the top 10, 3 Ferraris, 1 Bimmer, and 3 Lambos. So 3, 3, 3, and 1.
Ooh.
No Porsche, no Mercedes.
It's a very long Stoffelberg too, so I'm not sure if he's had a penalty or something, some sort.
Oh, does he have a stop and hold? Don't tell me he's got a stop and hold in the last minute.
He's up to 40 seconds of stopping.
Matty Dench should be only 1 corner from home. To the Parabolica he comes. Matthew Dench picking up exactly where he left off. He's a 9-time champion. In 9 weeks' time, it could be 10 on the trot. Dench starts.
Do something,
title defense number 9 with a critical display at the Monza circuit in Italy. And once again, Barney's not doing his bloody job. Aidan Luthwaite, a superb performance from him to come second. Look at Muir all over the back of Foster on the run of the line in third. Muir and Foster are going at it, hammer and tongue on the run of the line. Foster will get it. Foster goes third. Audi, BMW, Ferrari on the podium. Lambo miss out. 4th and 5th, Muir and Hazard. Then King, Nicholson back to 7th. Nice recovery. Jared Knight, have a look at this. Jared Knight in for 8th. Paul Wood will be 9th. And Richard Mitchum, after the shocking way in which it all got underway for him. It could have started so much better, but he fought back. The recovery was magnificent. He finishes 10th. Hammond will be 11th. Snadden, Cooper, Hooper, and Khan make up the top 15. Have a look at the logjam and congestion here. Oh, hang on. Edwards, 17th. Edwards to 16th. Fred Khan's run out of juice, I think. 3 wide across the line. Edwards, 16th. Edges out Jennings and Khan in a photo. And they were all over Greg Heaney like a cheap suit, who salvaged the top 15 finish. And unfortunately, he got a stop-go penalty for speeding in the pits to Adam Burhop. That's plummeted him down the order to 29th. Would you fair dinkum believe that? Let's have a look at the photo finish here. Across the line they came. Oh, nothing in that. Can we just have another look at that, please? Nothing in that. Holy smoke. We'll just back that one up a fraction for you here, folks, to get a quick look at what 0.02 of a second looks like. Oh, well, that's what it looks like in fast forward. Jeez. Michael Edwards, John Jennings, and Fred Khan. Nothing in that. It was definitely Edwards, wasn't it? Yep. He held on by the barest of margins.
Well, it's hard to tell because he's off the track.
Half a nose.
But yeah, he's in front.
Yeah. Oh boy. What a way to get the season going. It was lively. It was frantic. It was intense from the outset. In the end, Matty Dench picked up exactly where he left off. So did Aidan Luthwaite in every sense of the word. Luthwaite a good start. Thomas Foster, Sam Muir, impressive. Then Andrew Hazard, Richard King, Simon Nicholson, Jared Knight, Paul Wood, Richard Mitchell. Maybe the extra bums in seats here on the GT3 grid is as a result of the Porsches not going around this term. I'm not sure.
We still have 2 Porsche races this season.
Sorry?
We still have 2 Porsche races in the Prod Cup car.
Oh, that's right. In the Prod, yeah, that's right. But we don't have the Porsche Cups. Yeah.
No full Cup season. But there's still a couple of races for the guys to show up and show out.
Well, hopefully they do. What about some of the stories outside of that, though? Hammond up 21 spots. Wood up 15. Hazard up 11. Up 16 for Dane Statten. So Woodsy wasn't even the second biggest mover of the night. He was the third. And Jennings up 12 to 17th. And Proctor up 17. Piper up 16. Cousins and Sharp up 12 spots apiece. Some great stories there. Schmidtke finished a lap down. So did Braden O'Loughlin, Stephen Gallacher. David Baz was 4 laps down, but I'm not sure. Did he get home? I think he got home, but 4 laps down. So he'll be the last of the classified finishes in 34th. That's not a bad effort, first night of the new term. And how many on the lead lap? 30 in the end on the league lap. Quite impressive stuff. Zach Christie, David Christensen. Zach's already well documented his retirement. Jake Jackson, Glenn Arnott, and Jermaine Takalu failing to greet the start-finish line at the end of proceedings here, failing to trouble the scorers. What about that, eh? Thomas Foster joins us in race control with the very nice profile picture, tipping the hat to Australia's favourite UK export of beer, Foster's Lager. Very nicely done. Tom, well done, mate. Back on track, back in the server, rocking and rolling in the Prancing Horse on a Monday night, and onto the podium as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked with that. I'm absolutely wrapped. I put a fair bit of effort into practicing yesterday and got myself on a different car and joined a team of blokes that are absolute great bunch of guys, and they've helped me a little bit more in the off season. So I've been having a ball.
It wasn't a race without incident and drama, but the further up the field that you were, the easier it was to avoid it. Let's talk about a couple of different things here. Firstly, why the Ferrari?
The boys have been using it in the Enduro series, and it wasn't my first pick, but it's sort of grown on me over the Beamer. I've always loved the Beamer. It's been a safe bet, but it's time to step away and get out of my comfort zone.
And broaden the horizons, as they say, yeah. Talk to me about strategy here, mate, because there were so many people that zigged behind the safety car. You've 2 stopped it, so's Aidan Luthwaite and Matty Dench, and it seemed to be that staying out behind the safety car and not transiting the lane ended up being, for the most part, the way to go.
Yeah, it was only 5 odd litres of fuel that they were going to save, so the time to me wasn't worth it. But I did lose a little bit of fuel in the first stop because I did take tyres. So yeah, it worked out in the end. I took a gamble and it paid off.
Indeed, it did. What about the contest between you and Sam Muir? It seemed to be on pretty much from the safety car restart.
Yeah, that was a mad battle, and I can't thank him enough for how good that was and how clean that was. You know, he'd gain a bit, and I'd lose a bit, and I'd lose a bit, and then he'd do the same. It'd be opposites to make it back together. So we spent the whole race within a second of each other, drafting. So yeah, a lot of fun.
And how worried were you that he might end up eventually just firing one down the inside late in the piece there?
Had he have done it, I probably would have let him go, to be quite honest. I would have taken a 4th.
Yeah, that's fair. And first Ferrari home as well, mate. So the change of lanes here is working already for you.
Yeah, well, let's just see how the rest of the season goes. Yeah, maybe tonight was just my saving grace, and we'll see how the rest goes, eh?
I think paid to stay out of trouble on the opening lap just quietly. That seemed to be the end of the road for quite a few people in this contest. Let's bring the calendar up on screen if we can, Adam Lavis, and just get Tom's thoughts on that schedule there. I hope you can see it, mate. I mean, next week, off to the Circuit de la South, 90 minutes there. sprint racing from Sebring, followed by sprint racing from the Red Bull Ring, followed by 60 minutes around Bathurst, 90 minutes around the Nürburgring Nordschleife, and then Suzuka for sprint racing, Road Atlanta for sprint racing, the new venue, the Algarve Portimao circuit for 60 minutes, and then 90 minutes around Road America. There are some favourites in there. Trying sprint racing at Suzuka is going to be interesting. But more importantly, the fact that we've got 2 new venues to play with. We've not done a GSRC GT3 race on a Monday night around the Nordschleife. And also the Algarve International Circuit's a newbie for everybody. What are your thoughts?
It's one hell of a lineup. I'm not going to lie. It's a great calendar, but the only one I am scared of is Nordschleife. I've never done more than about 3 laps around there, so it's not my cup of tea. But definitely looking forward to the rest of it. It's one hell of a lineup, and yeah, I'm here for the whole gig. So let's go.
So you're committed to the whole season?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, we're doing this. I've got a teammate that's should be hopefully in here next week, depending on how he went tonight in the Pro-Am series. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the Per boys joining in.
And what else are you applying your trade at for this season of GSRC competition, mate?
I'm trying to do a few of the GT4s. I'm just trying to jump in there and just have a go at it. Yet again, broadening my horizons, not just driving the GT3. Just have a bit more fun at the same time.
And that's at the end of the day. I mean, we were just having a chat before you guys joined us about the difference between league racing and officials. And this is where you come to have fun, isn't it?
Yeah, yes and no. I actually do it the other way around. I do officials for a bit of fun, and this I do actually try and put a fair bit of effort into. You see the likes of Denchi and Luthwaite and Nicholson, how fast they are, and I strive to be that fast. It's just sometimes I'm a little bit lost as to where they get the speed, but that's something to learn.
And judging by, again, what you were saying in the outset there, mate, about the Ferrari and coming to grips with that and getting familiar with it, it seems as though round by round, familiarising yourself with the car and the racetrack, that preparation time is important for you.
Definitely for me, it's a lot about the circuit, getting your brake markers, where you can push it and where you can't, where to save fuel. It's all part of it, and stuff that comes secondhand to a lot of those faster guys, where for me, it'll take me 3 sort of practice sessions to, get that a lot closer to being perfected. So the tracks that I already do know, it's going to come more naturally for me.
All right, mate. Very nicely done. Cannot wait for next week. Looking forward to that immensely. Wishing you and the team the best for the season ahead, and looking forward to seeing how you and the Prancing Horse fare in terms of the outright leaderboard at the end of it.
Yeah, thanks very much for that, mate. I had a blast tonight and look forward to next week. Very
nicely done. There he is, Thomas Foster. And in that time that we've been talking to Tom, the who's who of some of the GSRC stalwarts have dropped by to have a chat to us as well, including our Week 10 of Term 1 expert co-commentator, Greg Heaney, who I may as well bring in now because you'll be the team spokesperson for Whiskey Business, my friend. And it was Whiskey Business around Monza tonight, particularly in the early stages. Difficult to keep your nose clean, but in the end, 15th for you, but that's not necessarily what I want to talk about here. Again, a standout performance for Aidan Luthwaite. Unfortunately, things didn't quite go right for Fred Kahn and Jackson Dial, but I mean, there's promising signs there. And beyond that, Ryan Mulder was unlucky as well.
Yeah, good to be back. Very happy to be back on track, and actually happy to have all 6 of us on track tonight for a good show with the race team. Scully, or Ryan Mulder, unfortunately didn't get the best of qualifying. He just couldn't tie a lap together. He kept getting off track on the exit of Ascari, which is really easy to do. And then, obviously the turn 1, lap 1 incident that caught a few people out. I saw it coming and just dove for the grass, which the boys were like, how did you end up there? It's like, well, I saw it coming and went for the grass on the right-hand side and just got back on the road. Zach didn't have a good night.
No, we've already heard about that.
Yeah, Greg Brooks sent me a message about something, so I don't know if he will or will not be back. It would be nice to have him back. I will thank him very much for the liveries on the BMWs. That was his work. and they turned out absolutely fantastic. But very much congratulations to Aiden for bagging another podium. We've decided that on our side of things that he needs to quit his job, tie himself to his race chair to try and beat Matt. That's probably about the only way we're going to get it done. Or I think he was saying an aquatic intervention. So, Denchi, you don't live in a floodplain by any chance, do you?
I mean, it rains a fair bit over here, so...
But do you get flooded in is what they're talking about, Denchi?
I'm pretty sure the power and internet will keep going if it rains a lot, so...
He's got a big generator, guys.
Very good.
I've no doubt.
Yeah, you're in all sorts of trouble now.
Yeah, very much so.
We're getting to Denchi very shortly, and actually nice to have him back in the booth for the first time in a while as well. We'll get to him soon. Let's go back to you, Greg.
Good night had from all. Fred, I think, was a little bit unfortunate on the second to last lap there coming into Parabolica. Not entirely sure what he did. I think he might have turned in a little bit too hard and clouted the Armco. I just tried to keep my nose clean for the whole race. I did have some good laps there at the end with Chippo. That was a good heap of fun, that one. Good show. And thought I'd go the Lambo this time to be different, and then there's half a dozen of them on the grid.
Exactly. Are you surprised by the increased presence of Lambo?
A little bit. I honestly didn't think that many people would be running it. But I thought, well, I'll be different and I'll take the Lamborghini. And then I find there's half a dozen of them on the grid, and I'm thinking, well, maybe I should have either brought the Ford or the McLaren, because that would have been completely different.
I think you're just one of many who thought the same thing.
Yeah, most likely.
What about the next stop, mate, as we remind everybody of where we're off to next week? We've got, obviously, the 90-minute race around the Circuit de la Sarthe. We're excited about that. And then sprint racing from Sebring. So we start with long tracks, and they just get longer.
Very much looking forward to Le Mans. And then absolutely hanging for round 6, and particularly round 5 as well. Everybody loves the mountain, but Nürburgring 24, that's going to be a real good one.
What excites you most when you look at that calendar? Is there any circuit that you're not particularly looking forward to, Greg?
No, not particularly. I'm actually looking at that list thinking, yes, this is going to be a very exciting season. Particularly, I mean, for us in the mid-pack, say from like 5th down, I would class the mid-pack in this split. It's going to be some very interesting racing. Come some of the longer, more technical circuits. Portimao, I've done a few laps around that. That's going to be very interesting for racing with all of the elevation changes and blind apex corners and stuff. So I've done a few laps around that in the wet. So I've got an idea of it, but yeah, you put this many cars on the track, it's going to make it very interesting.
Indeed. Good to see good numbers on the circuit. Just going back to, I guess, your teammate Zach Christie for a moment. Yep. It's clear that he was enormously frustrated. The red mist hadn't yet fully disappeared for him. I take it there'll be a conversation had between you and him at some point to try and get him back in the cockpit, get him back in the fight. He's one of many wounded warriors at the end of this one.
Yes, most definitely. I'm going to have a chat with him. I know he's like, he did a whole bunch of liveries over the off season. He did himself one for the supercars to try the Super 2s. He's done a whole bunch of other stuff as well. And he didn't have a good outing in the precursor to tonight. So, and then he's come into this. I think he's probably still a little bit hot-headed, maybe. And then he's obviously had a couple of incidents here, and I think that's just overflowed at the end. And yeah, as you say, the red mist hadn't completely disappeared yet, and that was pretty much it. So, but I'm hoping I can turn him around and get him back in the seat and get him settled down. It is good having him on the track. So.
Brett Bradbury disappointed that he's away for Sebring. Don't let Nick Fodiatis read that. Nick won't be disappointed about not being in GT3 at all, as Joe Baldwin will attest when we get to El Presidente for the first time this season in just a few moments. Hey, Greg, I love the enthusiasm from you and the Whiskey Business Squad, and I love that you always draw the short straw as the spokesperson.
I think it's only because I'm the only one that actually comes over here. I've even tried twisting Aiden's arm now twice because he's had a couple of podiums to come over, but he won't.
That's exactly that. You've read my mind, because that was exactly where I was heading. His performances have been real standout, and he's lost nothing term on term. If anything, he's improving with more time behind the wheel and in the seat. The guy is going to be, as you say, not just potentially your best bet at getting to Danchi, but your best bet at any sort of podium result in the championship.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, all credit to him. He puts the effort in. I mean, obviously work gets in the way for everybody. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure what he does for a crust, but I know he puts in a lot of effort on the practice sessions and everything. So, I mean, myself, Aiden, and Jackson did some practice over the weekend, and Jackson had to nick off, and then I threw up another session, and Aiden's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll jump in." And so I think he ended up doing about 5 hours in a row on Sunday.
I love it.
So the tough question as team manager of Whiskey Business is who are you going to, out of your roster of guys in the Pro Split, who are you going to put with him for the Bragging Rights Championship?
Probably, at this point, I don't know. I'll probably have to see how the rest of the guys fare within the next couple of races. I know Fred's pretty quick himself. He's only just getting used to the BMW. Ryan, if he gets his groove back in, it's been a little while since he's been driving in the GSRC. Work gets in the way and stuff for him. So, I mean, it's really going to be who can be here for each week to really put in the good performances to keep up with Aiden. Yeah, so we'll figure it out. I mean, I'm more consistency over cross speed, as you can tell from last season. So, but we'll figure it out.
Consistency is so very, very key as well. I'm hoping our good friend Joe Trucker of Baldwin can stick around for a few minutes as well, because I do need to talk to him on a club matter, not just a race matter. But in saying that, Greg, we'll let you go at this point in time, mate. Thank you very much for that. Looking forward to next week and seeing what you and the rest of the team bring to the table for the remaining 9 weeks of the campaign, because as we saw tonight, you were right in the thick of it, you and several others within the squad. So the signs are there, and now it's a matter of going out there and executing it. Well done.
No worries. Cheers, boys.
From Greg Heaney to race winner, Matty Dench. Let's, rather than saving the best until last, Dench, will rip the Band-Aid off here straight away. It was going so smoothly until the first round of pit stops, and then all of a sudden you were a lone soldier. Simon got done for pit lane speeding, I believe.
Yeah, I thought he must have done some pit entry practice, and I followed him in the pit lane, and I don't know how I didn't get speeding either. I was 99 k's after the lines.
Oh, geez, you must have brought some luck then.
I've seen you get lucky before. There was a race at in Lagos where you were well over the line as well, and somehow didn't get pinged. So you seem to just fall on the right side of the sword with the pit entry, but it's the pit exit that gets you.
Yeah, that pit exit, you got to be careful when you're not in that first.
As you know, at Watkins Glen, wasn't it, that you got pinged for not being... when you weren't the first across the... Yep. Now, talk to us about the Audi, mate, because we know that you are no stranger to this car. You've already had a little bit of a run in it. It must have been an easy decision to stick with it for this 10-week campaign and go for title number 10.
Yeah, I was looking at the Lambo or this Audi. I think because this Audi's new since I drove the championship with it. So yeah, we decided to jump in at this time.
Have a look at Jared Knight throwing the bait out there from the comment thread whilst waiting to have a chat to us in the booth as well. Very nicely done. The friendly fires are alive and well on a Monday night, let me tell you. It's as though everybody's been, gearing up for this one over the 2-week break. I must admit, the 2-week break for me came and went far too quickly. I don't know how everybody else feels about it, but it is nice to be back in the chair all the same. Denchi, talk me through it, because we saw that everybody, even those that zigged into the lane to top up in that opening safety car period, everybody then still had to transit lane twice. So talk to me about your strategic thinking and your game plan, and why or when you worked out that it was still going to be a two-stopper irrespective of the safety car.
I mean, we were looking at the fuel numbers at the start of that safety car, and we were thinking about ducking in, topping up, and trying to make one stop from there. But yeah, it would have been probably doable, but we would have been pretty slow in the back half of the race. I had to put 15 litres in at the second stop, so yeah, it was still would be pretty tough.
Indeed. What do you make of the calendar ahead? The fact that we got 3 90-minute races instead of 2, and 3 60-minute races instead of 4, but still 4 sprint rounds. That is a very, very juicy-looking calendar. I don't know how many people feel the same way, but given the Tempest weather system and given that calendar, I can't recall a more exciting in prospect GT3 seasons on record here.
Yeah, it looks like a absolutely fantastic calendar. Looks like we're actually going to have to learn the full circuit of the Nürburgring, though. We'll have to go put in some laps and try and learn 160 odd corners quite well.
And if you learn it, if you've still got to learn it, everybody else is going to be in a little bit of strife when you do, I dare say. But that will be the great equaliser, that one, because so many trip-up points. I could only imagine how long the tow rope is if you need to get a lift back to pit lane, not least what the weather might do over the course of 90 minutes there, mate.
Yeah, well, I think with the circuit being so big, I think you might find it might be raining in some sections and not others, so that'll be spicy.
Indeed, it will be. How did you spend the 2 weeks off, mate? It must have been a different sort of change of pace for you, not coming in here and tallying it up on a Monday night.
Yeah, I actually didn't do any driving on the Sebring for the 2 weeks. So yeah, over the weekend we jumped in and did a little bit of driving to get back up to speed. But yeah, it was just nice and chill.
Indeed. All right, very nicely done. Hopefully Nico can ease off the lead foot for you next week, and you guys can make your presence felt once more. Looking forward to seeing what you bring to the table, and we'll up the stakes from 60 to 90 minutes. It'll be interesting to see how these cars, difficult with so many different varying circuits in this calendar, Denchi, to know which car's going to be the best to go with. But one thing we know about you is you've managed on more than one occasion to be able to get the best out of the car, even if it's not necessarily the best car for said circuit.
Yeah, I think you really got to play into the car's characteristics, so really set the car up for how it likes to drive, not just see Simon wiggling there.
He wasn't happy with himself, clearly. All right, mate. Denchi, thank you, mate. We'll let you rock and roll. Just have a look at that honour roll down the bottom there, folks. 9 Porsche Cups, 9 GT3 Pro Championships, a GT4 and a a GTE Championship, etc., and so forth. It is quite an impressive record, and he's got a chance to add another GT3 title to it this term, at which point Adam Lavis will run out of room to write etc. on there.
I have to take one of them off.
Yeah.
Do I have to do some other categories, so you have to modify the graphics, add an extra line?
I've already I had a trouble because I myself have won multiple different things, so I had to play around to fit my stuff in already. So it's already getting to a point where it's a pain in the butt.
Yep, exactly. All right, Denchi, well done, mate. Congratulations, great performance yet again, and looking forward to seeing what you bring to the table for the rest of the campaign, mate. Go well.
No worries, we'll catch everyone next.
A little bit different, of course, not having a Porsche Cup round to preview on a Thursday night as well. First time in a while. Someone that won't be terribly disappointed to see the back of the Porsches is Jared Knight, though, mate. Good evening to you. Well done. At the end of the day, we end up 8th place in the end, 2 down on where you started, but you hedged your bets. Unfortunately, it didn't quite pay off for you coming into pit lane during that caution period.
Yeah, 8th with the night I had. It felt like a bit of a win, to be honest. Seemed to get caught up in everybody else's mess, and it's around about all bar 10 minutes of that race with left hand down steering. So yeah, she was a real struggle. So yeah, no, nice. Actually, fairly happy to come home with 8th.
Looked like a difficult mongrel of a start to the night as well. 90. I mean, congestion at turn 1, the log jam, the track getting blocked essentially, and everybody sitting there as though it was a parking lot. That triggered the safety car, which then triggered a flurry of pit stops, not least trying to fix some damage, but also, of course, guys trying to play the strategy game. And then, as you say, a fair bit of damage to contend with for the rest of the night. Was there any chance to nab a fast repair, or you'd already used that?
Nah, I'd already used it with the lap 1, turn 1 incident. I almost got around it. Tried to swing it out wide, and I think the rear of Mitchum's car just clipped the left rear of mine, and had too much steering damage to. Or the thing wanted to crab, so you had to come in and sort of fix that, and then the only time that I had a good car was sort of just buried in the pack and trying to come through, and got caught up. I think Zach and not too sure he was in front of him, and just clipped the end of that, and that gave me more steering damage. So it was a tough old night.
Indeed. Mates, just talk to me about car selection for this term and the Ferrari. I mean, it's probably too early in the campaign, given the damage tonight, to ask you what you're making of it. But, I mean, there are 6, 7, 8 cars to choose from. No love for the McLaren, no love for the Ford, and bugger all for the Mercedes. But why the Ferrari?
We've obviously done a few seasons with the Beamer and had some decent success, and I think it's just with the introduction of the rain model. It's no secret that the front engine cars sort of lack a little bit, and the mid engine cars are a little bit more comfortable to drive. So. Just on the sort of the rain laps that I've done, just sort of testing, I've found a bit of comfort in the Fez, and without the damage tonight, the car was actually really, really good. So a few more laps in it over the next couple of weeks, and hopefully we can find some tenths and get up towards Aiden and Thomas there.
Now, what do you like and what don't you like about the calendar ahead, mate?
Round 7. You could probably guess that.
What a surprise!
With Suzuka, but probably that, and then Road Atlanta. I'm not the biggest fan of Road Atlanta as well. It's I don't think it's a real good racing track. It's great to turn laps on your own, but put a bunch of cars together. It's bit of chaos, but beyond that, it's an absolute cracker. Next week should be good. It should suit the fairs hopefully, and really looking forward to seeing what the Nordschleife serves up, and see who's put the laps in, and who's setting up for the 24 hour. I believe it's the weekend before, so everyone should be nice and practiced up for that one.
Indeed, they should be. And I guess the unknown of what weeks you're going to have to contend with wet weather as well.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's I guess that's it. What the car selection come down to as well. It's just it wasn't really about what car I felt fastest in. It's just what car I feel like I can be quickest in over the course of a season. So. Yeah, hopefully we find some love in this Ferrari.
We can only hope so. I apologise. I was halfway through a mouthful of lime cordial, just trying to lubricate the tonsils to get us through to the checkered flag here. 90. Without the Porsche Cup, that nemesis of yours, it's on the burner. It's on the sideline for this season. What else are you going to play your trade at, please?
Not too sure. Yeah, maybe the GT4s on Wednesdays, but I'm actually, despite what you think, I'm actually a little bit disappointed that the Porsches have taken a back seat. It's yeah, like as much as many struggles as I do have with that car, sometimes it's I put it up there with probably one of the best cars on the service.
Yeah.
For racing, so
it's
yeah,
it's one of those things. It's a pain in the butt to get your head around, but it's rewarding when you do get it right, and also the racing can be really good. So it's just a matter of getting the other people. That's the biggest problem. That's one of our one of Nick's fears with the SRX on Friday, is because it's a tough car. It's a matter of getting the people to stick it out and actually get used to it. And realise that the tough cars like that, once you do get your head around them, they can give you good habits for the other cars once you come back to your normal bread and butter cars.
Yeah, and I think the Porsche's having a break. Obviously, like we saw some seasons there where the numbers sort of started to dwindle down, and then it sort of came back a little bit last season. It was a little bit more consistent, but I think. They say absence makes the heart grow fonder, don't they? So, I guess if it has a season or two out, you probably find that you'll get those numbers back, and we might start seeing some grids of 30 and 40 cars.
Hopefully, a few guys will froth them when we do bring it back.
Yeah. I'll be one of them. That's for sure. And then I'll hate it after week one.
There's 3 or 4 things that I want to say there. And the first one is, despite it being, it's interesting to hear you say that, despite it being a constant source of frustration for you, and therefore your review of it being a constant source of amusement for us, Nighty. It's nice to hear you say that you want to line up and have another crack at it. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. I've never been able to apply that to any personal situation in life, but apparently in terms of television programs or sim racing championships or tracks that go missing from world championship calendars, yes, there is something to be said about absence making the heart grow fonder. And it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the season plays out, mate. Thank you for stopping on by and having a chat to us. Go well for the rest of the week and go well for the rest of the season. You and the HTS stable. We'll catch up with you next Monday night.
Cheers, Zach, and thanks for the broadcast again.
You're welcome. Hey, Paul Wood, good evening to you and welcome back. It's very rare that we're talking to you and saying, look, you've gained 15 spots, but you're not the biggest mover of the night.
Yes, it is, yeah. Well, I think Mikey actually ended up stealing the biggest
21.
mover there, but yeah.
And there were a couple of 17 and 16 as well, Woodsy, so you're about 4th in the queue.
Right, only question is, did Mikey set a lap time? Because that's the only thing that might be the caveat, is if he set a lap time, he's got you. If he didn't, then you might sneak off him.
I believe he did.
Well, there you go.
Let me do a quick check. I believe he did. Yes, he did.
17 Adam Proctor, 16 also Dane Snadden. So, even if he didn't, you would have been 3rd in the queue there, I think, Woodsy. Hey, mate, talk us through that, because you're in the Lambo now, so talk us through the selection process and why you settled on that, and then talk me through the race that was and the hustle and bustle of working your way through the field. Obviously, helped somewhat by those that decided to pit early, thinking that it would help them strategically, only for it to backfire.
Well, for me, the old Bailey Lambo served me far better than I thought it was going to. But yeah, the decision was more like Greg. There wasn't many people using the Lamborghini in recent times, so I thought I'd give it a run. And as Adam's aware, I've been complaining and everything, thinking it could be a bit of a handful. But in the end, with a couple of little tweaks to the setup I had, it was competitive. I'd still like a little bit more speed out of it, but there's still a few quirks that nearly caught me. But overall, pretty enjoyable race. I decided to pit a little bit early. I nearly went under the safety car, but I thought, I'd gained a few spots in the middle of the field. I thought it wasn't worth losing that much track position, but I was caught up with a big run of cars there, and we kept sort of having the accordion effect. So I thought, I'm going to pit a little bit early, try and get out of it, which gave me a bit of clear air, which I think ended up working in my favour. I gained a few spots through the first stop, and then second stop put too much fuel in, so I lost a little bit of time. But overall, I did well, and then I made that one mistake where I got my one and only slowdown and dropped from, I think I still would have only been 8th, I think, at the most, in position-wise. But
yeah, overall, I was pretty happy with the race for a first outing in the Lambo, and it'll just be interesting to see how it goes on the other tracks.
Indeed, it will be. I haven't asked anybody about tyre wear tonight. Did it affect you in any way, shape, or form, Woodsy?
Surprisingly, Lambo was really quite good on tyres, but I think overall they're quite drilled for this track because it's not a big, not a lot of long, bank curves or anything like that. So it's straight line braking, so you don't use up a lot of tyre, and you're not got long corners to try and accelerate through so much. So overall, I don't think tyres for anyone really should have been a big issue, but I still throw on a set when I could to just replenish the working tyres, which seemed to work all right. So, yeah, it's I'm not sure what else I could have done other than obviously try and get a little bit more straight line pace out of the car. But for a first round and how unsure I was coming into it, I'm quite happy with the result.
Thoughts on the calendar and what you're most looking forward to, mate?
I love myself some Nords. It's been a long time since it's used. Again, it's a hard track to race on, especially in the beginning when everyone's together. If it's once it spreads out a bit, it can be a lot of fun. But yeah, if you make one little mistake, it's going to cost you in tow time. But if we get wet weather, I'll let you know after that, because I'm still coming to terms with wet weather with the car, especially what the Lambo is going to be like. The BMW went okay last season. We did one race, but that's the one and only race I've done so far. So jury's still out on how I think with wet weather, but overall, I think with the season, it should be good. It's a pretty consistent track. Portimao will be interesting in the Lambo. If I can get it to hold its rear end nicely and not come around with the amount of corners there, it should hopefully be a pretty fun car for the season so far.
All right, looking forward to it immensely. What other championships are you going to have a crack at this term?
Well, actually, if I could have my way, I'd prefer to do every night of the week. There's a bit of everything, but just my back, I don't think it'll allow me to do it all. So I'm leaning towards, GT3s tonight. The, what's on Wednesday? It's the GT4s, and then the Super Lights on Thursday. And I'm going to try and do the SRX every week. It's I'm not too interested on the ovals, much to Nick's disappointment, but I'll probably give it a go. Just again, the other 4 nights of the week will depend on how my back's going. But that's the plan for this week. So we'll see how it rolls out over the next couple of weeks.
All right, mate, very nicely done. Hey, thanks for hanging in there and being patient and waiting for us to get to you. We appreciate that, and also the fact that you come and have a chat to us each and every time you're in the rig. Go well for the rest of the season, mate. Nice to catch up.
Hey, thanks, guys.
A top 10 result for Woodsy tonight. Adam Lavis, have we got results from the AM split potentially to have a look at, please? There we go. Oh, there's a name I haven't seen in a while. Ricky Provenzala. Here we go. David Bernays, Tom Williams, the top 3. James Franco and Eduardo Zamora. Then Trucker Joe, who we're getting to in just a moment. And Bobby Camo, also Ben Lavender, Jack Humphreys, Kurt Chapman making up the top 10. Those guys got 33 laps in, which is the difference for not having a safety car, of course. Trucker, good evening to you. Nice to have you on board for the start of a new term, mates. Firstly, how was the break?
The break was very short, but the members made it seem like it was way too long. A lot of guys were itching to get back in and racing. Everyone's like, "Oh, where's the schedule? Where are we racing? What are we doing?" Which is great to see the interest in the guys and getting back in the sim and back racing and wanting to know what we're doing. And as you touched on before, we've parked the Porkers this season. Whether it's 1 or 2, we're not too sure. We'll see how many people nag us at the end of the season and bring it back, I guess. But it's just changed as good as a holiday, I think, is a little bit there on that one. But it was certainly good to get back in and turn some laps.
Absolutely. Talk me through the GT3 AM race, if you don't mind, and your take on that, and a top 6 result for you.
By the sounds of it, was a bit cleaner on the first couple of laps than what the pro guys had. So, but we still had a couple of little skirmishes. There was a bit of paint traded. I'd like to I actually chatted to him after the race, welcomed Chris Bleakley back to the club. Unfortunately, we had just a slight coming together, and he had a bit of a spin, which I think he ended up, he come back to finish 16th, I think. So, yeah, unlucky for Chris, but he's a fast customer. But, yeah, just, it's one of those tracks, right, where off tracks and slowdowns and, there's some pretty aggressive curbs. Even though on paper it looks like a simple layout, it's anything but to get lap time out of the car. So it's probably the perfect place to come back for round one.
Indeed. Indeed. When you look at the schedule and you look at what's ahead, obviously the 2 hour time difference still does impact some of your ability to race, but what are you most looking forward to this season, mate? Not least, of course, you being in the hot seat of where Adam Lavis normally resides on a Friday night.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Friday nights I'm going to take up the broadcasting role for Nick's SRX series. So that's something we've been working hard in the background. Adam's done a lot of work getting all my stuff sorted out to make the most of it. And yeah, certainly looking forward to that challenge, and I think it'll be a challenge, but it's certainly one I'm looking forward to. I'm actually trying to get up the where are we? Here we go. I'm trying to work out where we're actually racing the GT3. Sorry, here we go. So
yes,
yeah. So we're at
Le Mans next week.
God, are we at Le Mans next week? I don't mind that one.
Yep.
Sebring, I'm going to see whether or not Nick can stand in for me for that round. I'm sure Nick will he'll be busting a gut to log in on my account and race that one for me.
I reckon you're very lucky that he's probably not tuned in at this point in time.
I think he's probably listening. I'll get a message shortly, I'm sure. But no, I think there's a really good match, good mix there of like nice, big, fast, flowy tracks which suits the GT3s. Nürburgring combined, we'll get an hour's race there and do 4 laps. So that's going to be interesting when we get to the Nürburgring. It's something that a couple of the members.
Let's hope we don't have a car.
Yeah. Oh, we don't want one of those. We'll probably put that one in the sub-regs, no safety cars.
Yes.
If the track's blocked, people got a tow. But no, actually, former President David Johnson actually put the word out that it'd be good to go there, and I agree totally. It's somewhere that we haven't actually been, and just so that if anybody knows, Adam spent about 8 hours on Sunday doing a camera pack just for the Nordschleife. So yeah, when we do get there in the broadcast, I hope everybody just realises how much effort Adam puts in the background of the club, and he's got to be congratulated for all the work he does there, not only getting my stuff sorted out, but for one track it was about 8 hours worth of camera work, I think he said to me the other day. So there's a lot of work goes on in the background, and hopefully that'll show up with the results.
Indeed. I'm sure it will. I'm looking forward to it, and of course it is right in the middle of what is a very busy time on the World Motorsport stage when that round falls. It's the Monday before the Monaco Grand Prix, the Indianapolis 500, and the Coca-Cola 600 for NASCAR as well. So start one of the biggest weekends. Start one of the biggest weeks of racing for the season, for the calendar year, with us on Monday, the 20th of May. Gentlemen, I hate to end this on a sad note, on a down note, but I think we need to, for those that weren't tuned into the Enduro broadcast last Sunday, acknowledge some extremely sad news within our own ranks throughout the course of the holiday period just gone, and that was the untimely and very sad passing of Brendan Van Ryn.
Yeah, look, that one... obviously, we've got a bunch of his teammates in with us. Greg Padgett's one of the main guys within his team. And yeah, the news came through to us the day after the accident. He was at work, the poor guy, in the same sort of line of work as I am. So it's just absolutely tragic. Married, couple of young kids. So the club, again, I would just say, our heartfelt condolences, love and support go to his wife Chantel and his 2 young girls that he's got there. So we've got a couple of things that we're going to do. Obviously, we had some special stuff there during the Enduro broadcast, but we've got a couple of things that are going to be coming up. I'm not sure. I suppose we could probably talk about it because we've basically locked it in. When the up-and-comers thing happened, that's actually going to be known as the Van Ring Cup. The Van Ring Medal, sorry, is going to be a part of the up-and-comers because that's one of the series that he featured in a lot in his time within the club. And, so just one of the ways that we can... sort of honour the guy. He was a member of the club, long-term member of the club. He didn't do as much racing lately, but I think real life might have got in the way for him there. So but he's we're certainly thinking of his family, and we'll miss him. So Godspeed, Brendan.
He was only 41 years old.
41 years old.
That's the difficult thing to fathom. The amount of young people we've already lost this season. I mentioned at the end of term 1 that I'd already been to 3 funerals in 3 months, and had I been in the vicinity of where he is, and my mum and dad are only about 40 minutes down the road from Singleton, as you guys know, I would have been going to a 4th this Friday. So if any of our members are in the vicinity, you can get along. It's being facilitated by Chapman's Funeral Singleton. It will be at the All Saints Anglican Church in Singleton. Brendan's funeral Friday at 1:30 p.m. There will be a live stream via the Chapman's Funeral Singleton website, as per usual, as is standard procedure for most of them these days. For those that can't attend, very sad news. Our thoughts, our love, our prayers go out to his family, his friends, his teammates, and any members feeling it, doing it tough as a result of that shocking news at the moment. It has been, and I don't want to shine too much of a light on it, but it has been a shocking start to 2024. And just when we were starting to, reach for some sort of hope that it was going to get any better, that news came along and just knocked all of us for 6 again.
Definitely.
Just a sad start to the year. But a lovely way for the club to be able to acknowledge a fallen member in that way through the up-and-comers. On the subject of the club, put simply, we just can't do what we do without the support of people like Waste Options, Sprite and Cider, Orbic Australia, Lobesy Racing, M-Wave Australia, and Flash Graphics. Big thanks to all of those people for coming on board and supporting this term. You may have noticed a small change there. We welcome Orbic back, and Player One Sim Gear have dropped off again. So just the one change there, term on term. Let's have a look at what's coming your way on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, because there's an enormous amount that we're bringing you throughout the course of the campaign. There are 10 weeks. There are 4 nights of broadcast per week. So what's that? 40 different broadcasts coming your way, and maybe an enduro or 2 as well. Tuesday night, the Lobesy Racing up-and-comers from Sonoma in the Ferrari Challenge Cars 3-race super sprint format, 7:45 Eastern Standard Time. Make a note of the Australian Eastern Standard Time now. Feels so much better being able to say that and actually being on time. Circuit Park Zandvoort, 40 minutes on Tuesday night as well for the opening round.
I'm not going to read
the Orbic Australia GT1 Civil War, 9:10 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Make a note of that. So once again, the first 9 rounds run simultaneously on the same night as the up-and-comers. The grand finales will be on separate weeks again this term. Wednesday night looks different, with the entree now being the Production Car Challenge. It'll be the FR500s, the Mustangs first up. That's from Motorsport, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. 2 sprint races, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Then on the road Atlanta for sprint racing in the GT4 Challenge from 8:45 p.m. And then on Thursday night, Daniel Correa, Sarah and I with you from 7:30 Eastern from Knockhill in Scotland. How good's that going to be for GSRC Formula V for Sprayton side of Thursday Night Motorsport? Looking forward to that immensely. and that will be 3 sprint races there, the opening round of the new season of Formula V. Always well worth the price of admission, that championship. Then on to Monza. So we started the week in Monza, we'll end the week in Monza. Super Lights, the Wings and Slicks moves to Thursday night for Sprayton and Cider. Super Formula Light, and a 40-minute race to look forward to there. I haven't done, outside of Formula V, terribly much in the way of open world commentary on these platforms since IndyCar days, so looking forward to that. Friday night, Joe and Nick are with you, and this will be the start of the new GSRC stock car series and the Superstar Racing Experience cars. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 sprint races from Sandown to get us going there. GTE returns on Saturday night in the form of, that is the car of choice for mountain men over 32 laps, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. And then next Monday night, we're bringing you the AM split from Le Mans. There you go, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time for round 2 of the championship. 90-minute race on the agenda there. 3 of them this season. A bit of overtime for Adam Lavis and I. But we're going to kick it off with some wall-to-wall concrete barriers. And the potential for carnage, if tonight's anything to go by, the field size and grid size I'm talking about. Super 2, Super 3, Super V8 from the Chicago Street Circuit, where Shane Van Gisbergen, of course, put himself on the map last July. So Super 2, Super 3, next Monday night, Chicago for 25 minutes. It will be nothing short of bedlam. Looking forward to it immensely. So we're done and dusted on a Monday night, the opening night of the new term for the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Season number 17 up and away. If you want to show your support for the club or buy some paraphernalia, there's how you do it. Merch.tgsrci.com or gsrcmerch.myshopify.com. And as far as the Enduros are concerned as well, still a couple of weeks away yet, but the next one of those is Mother's Day. Oh, geez, there'll be a few blokes in the naughty corner there if they don't go and pay their mums a visit before or after, let me tell you. Mother's Day, Laguna Seca at the venue, and looking forward to that immensely. The 12th of May for 4 hours. Le Mans to follow, and then, of course, Motorsport to get Season A out of the way. GTP and GT3 there with the World Endurance Championship point system in play. So, we've got a new player in the form of young Mr. Green in Super 2, taking the fight to Damien Cairns earlier tonight. But the more things change, the more they stay the same. It was status quo in Waste Options GT3. Matty Dench picking up pretty much exactly where he left off in victory lane. A clinical performance tonight, and he won by nearly 20 seconds over Aidan Luthwaite. There were four different manufacturers in the top 4 to get the season going on what was a helter-skelter night at the Temple of Speed. Hope you enjoyed the opening night of the new term on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you, and as much as I think we all enjoyed the 2 weeks off over the Easter period and in some parts of the country. The school holidays tied in nicely with that as well. Hope you'll come back and join us on Wednesday night. Liam Banks and, of course, Daniel Correa-Sar will be with you for Wednesday night Motorsport. I'll be back on Thursday with Daniel. Nick and Joe in on Friday. We've got Term 2 covered like you would not believe it. It is going to be great fun. It'll come and go very fast, especially if tonight is any indication. That does not feel like 3 hours of work. It's just come and gone in a breeze. Thanks for coming along for the ride, especially those of you that stayed with us right to the end of the broadcast, and hope you'll stay with us on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube as the season continues. For now, on behalf of Adam Lavis and the crew, I'm Zach Caden bidding you a very good night.